Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge.
Knowledge independent. Knowledge independent.
I might just read one about the memory pattern. I might just read one about the memory pattern. I might just read one about the memory pattern. I might just read one about the memory pattern. Some confusion is perfectly normal at this stage, Captain. Some confusion has this visual signal normal at this stage, Captain. Some confusion has this visual signal normal at this stage, Captain. You have this visual signal normal at this stage, Captain. You have this visual signal. Stand by for thread one about the memory pattern. Stand by for thread one about the memory pattern. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge.
Knowledge independent.
Captain, report what you saw. Captain, report what you saw. Captain, report what you saw. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge. Edit pattern. Acknowledge.
Knowledge independent. Knowledge independent.
Some confusion is perfectly normal at this stage, Captain. Some confusion have this visual signal normal at this stage, Captain. Some confusion have this visual signal normal at this stage, Captain. Stand by for thread one about the memory pattern. Stand by for thread one about the memory pattern. Stand by for thread one about the memory pattern.
What's good, Adorable Waffles? See you in chat. What's good, Player Boy?
It's a dream.
We're back. Friday this time. It's Friday special. I was gonna just do it tomorrow, but it's not working out. Not working out for tomorrow. And I thought, man, I don't want to go a whole week with no content. So I'm here on Friday, making it work. Things might be a little jumbled, a little discombobulated. The discombobulator, as Trump says, might be pointed out my house right now. So things might be a little all over the place tonight. I had to rush home. I'm still a wagey. Look, this is not my day job. I'm not getting paid for this just yet. So I had to rush home from my job, from my day job, come home, get all the shit set up, get all the shit in order, and here we are. This music's making me want to bust down, for real, dude. That's good. We're here. Friday night. We'll see how this goes. Maybe this will be better than Saturday. Who knows? Because it does feel, I'll say this, here, I'll turn this down. I'll say this, it does feel, when I do this, it does feel like I normally do it on Saturdays, it feels like it's another day of work. Because it is. I mean, doing this, getting this all together, getting everything set up, it's a production. As scuffed as it is, it's a little bit of a production here. It's a little bit of work I have to do. I enjoy doing it, but, it feels like Saturdays are kind of just an extension of the work week in a lot of ways. It's more fun. I'm not saying that, but you get what I'm saying? There's a little more something I got to do. So I was thinking, okay, maybe if Fridays are good, maybe I almost feel like in some sense it would be better for me to just cram it into a work day after work, like on a Friday, after my wagey job, get off, just, figure out a better way to, because like I said tonight, I kind of was rushing. I kind of had to slam things together. It's a little bit, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just, maybe it's not that disoriented. Who knows? We'll go through it. We'll see how it is. We got a handful of things to talk about. But I was thinking maybe I'll figure out a better way to do it during the week to where I get all of it. I get my shit together better, maybe throughout the week, and then Friday night after work or whatever, come and just stream. So then I have Saturday and Sundays open. Maybe I'll switch it over. Maybe I'll switch my time. It's usually been Saturdays at 7, but maybe I'll do Fridays now. I don't know. It's tough, though. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to interweave all this into my regular life because I don't have billionaire backing. I don't get a bullshit sinecure job, somewhere at a venture capitalist firm where I could just sit there and do nothing all day and just devote my life to this crap where I can stream every day. No, I don't have that luxury. I'm pulling this out of my ass. I'm doing this on my own time. Okay, I'm managing with my normal everyday life between friends, family, work, and then Saturdays have been this. If I had sponsorships and shit, this would be, I think, a lot more manageable. But I'm forced to figure it out on my own. Anyways, I'm ranting, I'm rambling. Hey, Alexandra, good seeing you. Was seriously thinking earlier, it felt like a Saturday and was looking forward to J-Money. Then I remembered it was Friday. And then the special live stream announcement. Yes, look at that. You felt it. You felt it in the air. The spiritual connection. We're here. And I said, if you didn't just catch my monologue, we'll see if this works. If this is good, maybe I'll keep it this way. Maybe Friday's better. Maybe people like Friday better. I don't know. It's just, I'm cramming a lot into Friday, but then it would leave Saturday and Sunday basically free for me to edit, for me to relax, for me to have my own time. Right now, it's like I'm working basically Monday through Friday, and then Saturday's also kind of a work day, and it's just like Sunday's like my only day where I can do nothing. But even Sunday, I'm doing shit. I'm going to church and whatnot. I'm usually seeing people, so it's like even then, it's just on. I'm constantly on, constantly moving. It's a miracle I'm not on Adderall. Anyways, we got a wonderful Friday special show for you guys. That's perfect. We'll leave that music there. I love that when it just ends like that perfectly. We have a beautiful, wonderful, majestic Valentine's Eve show for you guys. And what says Valentine's Day in love better than a kidnapping? Better than look-smaxing and mogging people at the club and Peter Thiel-backed freaky transhumanists, right? What says love and Valentine's Day better than that? Nothing does. I am wearing the red. Hey, that's Valentine's Day-ish, right? I did create a new thumbnail too. You guys like it? I honestly thought about getting some sort of costume. I thought maybe I should dress up as like bow and arrow and get all dress up as Cupid or something. It didn't pan out. It's a little too out there, a little too much work. So, but I did get the thumbnails down, right? I think they look pretty good. See, this is something that AI is good for, is these little editing, funny little doodads I can do. I also have this thumbnail. It's also edited. I thought it looked pretty good. Hey, it looked pretty good. And I think it goes pretty good with the other thumbnails I've been doing. Thor plus Cupid. There you go. Stupid. Or core. But yeah, so we are back. We have some wonderful topics to talk about. Clavicular, freaking Roger Avery. Maybe we'll get to that. Honestly, I kind of pushed that to the end because I don't know if we're even going to get to that. Nancy Guthrie. This Nancy Guthrie thing, I saw it when it first happened, and then I was like, okay, this is going to be just, I don't even know. I just thought it was going to be a blip on the radar, and it was going to be like whatever. I like back like 2 weeks ago, I saw that, and I was like, this is going to be whatever. Then as time progresses, I'm just seeing more and more about it. Yeah, a couple days ago, I was like, dude, this is still going on. This is like a real ransom, like kidnapping. I was like, okay, this is something maybe I need to look at a little bit. So I've been doing a little bit of research on that. There's still there's stuff coming out every hour, it feels like, on this thing. TMZ has been on top of it, right? So we're going to look at some of that stuff, try and parse through some of that information. What else do we got? That's about it, honestly. We have the Roger Avery thing, potentially, the Clavicular, Nancy Guthrie. I have, Steve Bannon. I forgot. We have Steve Bannon. We're going to cover that a little bit in the beginning. That one's not, it's not going to be that long of a segment. It's more so just an interesting little tidbit, little piece of information that I wanted to share with you guys. But yeah, we are in for a good one tonight. And I hope all my fellow, well, all my incels out there, I hope you guys are going to have a great evening and a great Valentine's Day. I am a fake cell. I'm sorry. I'm not a true incel, but all the incels out there. Ludwig in chat with the from the top From the top rope, Ludwig with the book recommendations coming on in. Watch out. I've read Peregrine, The Invention of Moral, and I'm in the middle of Concrete Island. Interesting. Okay. The Plains by Gerald Murnane, A Journey into the Mystic Void of the Australian Plains. Butcher's Crossing by John Williams, a brutal western about the last days of buffalo hunting. Okay, wow. Ludwig, you were very well read. Ludwig, are you from the? Are you from across the pond? Are you from the UK? I thought Pigeon Post was from the UK, but apparently he's another chatter, another regular. He's from Canada. I just found that out. But I thought you were from the UK, but I think Ludwig, you're from UK, I believe. Anyways. We got a good one for tonight. We got a good show. But before we get into any of the stuff, please subscribe on YouTube. Follow me, Jake M on YT. Let's get to 300, 276. We're inching up. I took a little time off from posting. Took like a week or two off when I was sick and all the just nonsense. And it totally shit on me in the algorithm. We're starting to get back up there, though. We're starting to get our views back. We got 1,000 views on the Elijah Schaefer fiasco from a few days ago. 4chan thing, same thing, getting up there. But we were just like dead in the water for like a week there. I feel like the algorithm just totally shits on you if you take any time off, which is annoying because then this really does start to feel like a wagey 9 to 5. But we're getting back up there. We're inching back along, back to 300. The road to 300, people. The road to my Uncle Rob subscribing. The road to 300. If I hit 300, my Uncle Rob said he's going to subscribe to me. So we're on our way. So please hit subscribe on YouTube, Jacob on YT. It's all I ask for. I don't ask for any money or anything yet. But that's it. That's all I want. Just click one little button and do the same thing while you're at it. If you have an X account, if you don't have one, go make one. And follow me, not subscribe. Follow me on X, Jacob on YT. Same exact thing. Helps me out a ton. Uh-oh, did this just freeze? Dude, is my computer gonna take a dump on me? Oh, there we go. It froze like last week or whatever, and that was just tragic. But we got back to it. Another interesting thing. I posted this. Wow, this one too. I posted like I always do. Like we're going live. Advertisements on X, and dude, they. Like 12 minutes, 600 views on it. Like normally my shit is just crap because I'm a low level idiot with 18 followers on X. I get like 20 views on them, right? I get 500, 600. I think it's because of this right here. The fact that I put his name in there, it's just now it's up there in the algorithm, and I think that's getting mad views. I think he is being artificially astroturfed. I think his rise to fame, these people, they put them in the limelight, they put them in the culture, and then all these accounts promote them on the timeline, and it just starts, the ball rolls, right? The ball rolls. So I think but it's just interesting. I saw that. I was like, dude, 600 views in 12 minutes or whatever. I'm like, damn, okay, well, whatever. I mean, I'm cool with that. Can't complain, right? Can't complain. Someone is UK. I remember it coming up, and we got Pigeon Post from Canada. Right, we're global. The stream is global, people. I have a stack of books burning a hole in my bookcase, dude. Me too. Like I keep buying shit that I really want to read and find interesting. And I just got to be like, stop buying books. Read the shit you have. But there's just there's interesting shit. I feel like I have like 5 books right now that I'm inching like a chapter or 2 at a time in, and I'm just going through each one because what happens to me is that like I'll see something on the timeline or I'll watch a movie or something, or I'll have a conversation with somebody and I'll think that's really interesting. That's whatever that was, that topic. I'll kind of get like fixed on it, and I'll want to like read about it. I want to read what some people have said about it. whatever it might be, like futuristic shit or like AI, whatever, propaganda. We've talked about that, that kind of stuff, world events. And then I'll read portions of the book, glean information from it, and then within a week there'll be something else that I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, and then it's kind of this cycle where I do this. Then I go back to the book and I go, oh yeah, what did that book said? Oh yeah, that was so interesting. I go back to the book and I read about, I'm reading about transhumanism or whatever, and it's like, you kind of go, I kind of going through this inching. It's not, it's tough, and maybe it's just my popcorn brain, TikTok brain. It's tough for me to sit there and just sit on one topic and gain all the information I can on one topic. It's almost like I'm leveling up in a bunch of different topics that I find interesting, and hopefully I will reach a precipice of all these different things that I think also interconnect, right? Kind of like a web, maybe more like it. But honestly, I don't even think that is TikTok brain. I think I've always just kind of been like that. I've always just been very wide, not super deep, but I've been very wide, and it allows me to connect things quickly. And I think it allows me to be a pretty good conversationalist too, because basically anything that anybody talks about, I can have something to talk about. I can jump off of it. I might not know like the depths of everything that the person's talking about, but I can connect it to things. And ask questions and move, it's good. It's good to have kind of an expansive understanding of things, but it might not be the most in-depth. But hopefully, as I get older, all that information will get deeper and deeper, and I'll know more. And maybe by the time I'm 50, I'll have all this understanding about the world, right? That's super in-depth, right? I don't know. That's how I see it. That's how I play like MMOs and RPGs and stuff like that too. I don't ever max out one thing. I don't max out my armor or whatever, my power or whatever. I kind of just, my magic, I'm going to boost that up. Now I'm going to boost up my armor. And I kind of try and make myself this complete being whenever I'm playing these games, that who has no weakness, right? I don't know. Do Far Side books count, right? Far Side was good, dude. Same. I buy books faster than I read them. Yeah. Also, the thing about books too is that once you buy them, you have them, right? They're yours. Like, you're not renting them. They're yours. You can go back. You can sift through them. You can read through them at whatever pace you want. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to be edited or taken down or whatever. So that's another good thing. I keep telling people, even if you're not reading all these books, buy them up. Just buy them. And then just have them, and you can go through them at your own leisurely pace. Because unless somebody comes to your house with a gun and tells you to give it over, they ain't going anywhere. I have so many books I haven't read yet, and then I feel like reading blank again, and I wonder if I'll have a different perspective now. Yeah. Comic books are fair game for toilet reading, in my opinion. Yeah, I've been wanting to reread Akira. Has anybody read Akira? It's a manga, graphic novel. Futuristic Neo Tokyo, right, from like the 80s. That was pretty good. I have all of them, and I'm wanting to reread that. Once you have them in your house, they are energetically in your soul. Ah, very good. Akira's a masterpiece. Yeah. I just watched Ghost in the Shell, Ludwig. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's another anime. I wanted to read it. Yeah, I think it's a manga, right? It's not. I don't even really know if it's a manga or which one came first. I don't know if it was a movie then a manga or whatever. I'm assuming it was a manga first, but I ended up watching it because it was free on Tubi, and I thought that was really interesting. Anyways, enough of the chit chat, people. Enough of the talk. Let's get to moving. Let's get to talking about tonight's main events. So this post from RTSG talking about Steve Bannon and Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes did an interview with Keith Woods recently. And he talks about Steve Bannon. Something interesting here that I talked about previously that I'm going to look at as well. But let's just see what this clip says.
All right. I'll go to super chats after this. But just since he was mentioned, do you think Bannon will run in the next election?
I hope so. I don't know, but I hope he does. JD Vance cannot go unchallenged. That's just the minimum. He needs to have a challenger.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah,
I agree.
I saw an article recently, like just a couple of days ago, that he's supposedly preparing for a run. I mean, some of the kind of signals he's putting out is definitely interesting. Because I mean, it would basically be like Trump 2016 plus, you know, maybe implicit or not so implicit, like anti-Israel populism, which would be a very interesting thing to see. And like you said, the anti-big tech thing as well.
Seems-
I haven't really seen someone on the right do that like him.
Yeah, it would be
Oh,
defeat that person, then Vance can. Yeah, it would be a game changer. So I want to see, but it just can't be a Vance coronation, because if it is, then Vance can, if he is the presumptive nominee out of the gate, all he has to worry about is sucking off the donors. And if he faces an actual challenger from the right, he's going to have to make some hard choices, because to defeat that person, he'll have to make
gonna have to
some
make concessions,
statements and commitments that are going to inherently alienate the donors, so that it is going to move the center of gravity away from the donor class. So I do support a challenge, whoever it is.
interesting stuff. And this RTSG post says Steve Bannon was planning to rehabilitate Epstein's image. As we just saw that leaked recently was the Epstein Steve Bannon interview they did. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was posted on X and YouTube and everything, where he's interviewing. It was almost like it was like a mock interview. And I think that might have been what it was, because he's telling him, they're recording, but he's telling him like how he needs to be, how he needs to act. I'm going to say the question, and then you're just going to answer it straight up, and you're going to act like I'm not even here, and I'm not even, and Steve's also behind the camera. Just weird. But he's asking him all these things about his life, and he gets into all this weird shit about philosophy and systems and all this, but it does seem like maybe that is the case, that he's trying to rehabilitate Epstein's image. Bannon, there's an article here from Newsweek that Steve Bannon targeted incels because they're easy to manipulate, Cambridge Analytica whistleblower says. Allegedly, we don't really know. I don't really know, but this is what this is saying, and that would make sense. Here's the thing I always said about this, the whole Groyper movement, but just not even Groyper movements, but the internet in general. These people that fall into a lot of these cult-like followings, they don't have a whole lot of shit going on in their personal lives. With the Groypers specifically and the alt-right in general, it's like there was so much of this grievance culture that surrounds that area of the internet that plays into people's lack of success in relationships, success in the workforce, success in life. And it is really easy to prey on those people. And furthermore, the left also does the same thing with these kind of, these kind of like mutant disabled freaks, right? Like, for lack of a better term, right? They do the same thing. They play on the trans people. They play on the mentally ill, the SSRI riddled cat moms. Because these weak kind of people who don't really have a much going for them, they don't have much motion, they're not generating a whole lot. They're the people who are going to be sitting there in front of the computer. They're the people who are going to be taking in all this information. People who are out there working 60 hours a week. Not that I'm saying, not that I'm saying that's necessarily good, but if you're working for yourself and you're creating a business and you're running it, you don't have time to sit here and listen to Hassan or Nick Fuentes or whoever. But I think these types of people, you have to placate to them, to what they think, what they need, what you think they need, to a degree, whether or not you actually believe in it, or whether or not you're actually helping. Just like this grievance culture, this bitching, this constant moaning about the world. There's people who, and I've noticed this on YouTube too, when I post content that's way more negative towards things, when my face on the thumbnail is like, or I'm just, the state of the world, right, is so bad, right? Those things do better in the algorithm. And so there is like a subsect of the population you can prey on these people, and I think you can utilize them at will. And I think that they feel as though, like the black pillars, they have nothing to lose. So why not? Why not give my life over to this cult, right? It's an interesting little element there. And if Bannon's saying it, Bannon's tapping into something there I think is very real. Steve Bannon, the more and more I learn about him, I don't know that much about him, I'm going to be honest, but the more and more I learn about him, the Epstein ties, his move in the first Trump administration, trying to tell Trump to flood the zone with shit, and now it seems like they're actually doing that. I don't know if in the first administration they really did that. It was more so, it was just an offensive from the left, and his back was up against the wall. Maybe, you know, I think he didn't really know what the hell he was doing. So he was constantly having to deal with the offensive. But now I think a lot of the offensive has died down, and it's just nonstop flooding the zone with shit. And there's really not that much to glean from the information we're getting from this administration. But so it's like, the more I learn about that, to Epstein, that, and then this, regardless, I don't know if this is true or not, but let's just say it is. I'm starting to paint a picture with Bannon that I think he's a lot spookier than people realize. See, Bannon was planning to produce a pro-Epstein documentary on the day of financier's arrest. Emails reveal that Bannon was making arrangements for a redemptive documentary to counter damaging narratives advanced by Netflix's Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich. Filmed on location in Little St. John Island, the abandoned project was going to feature testimonials by Epstein pals like Michael Wolff. And I think that's what that interview was. I think that was going to be part of it. Nick Fuentes said 3 weeks ago he hopes Bannon will run for president while wearing an Epstein aura jacket. That's another thing, another element to this. If you connect Epstein to Bannon, and then Nick is now downplaying the Epstein scandal, we'll just leave it at that. He's making quarter zips with Epstein logo on it and kind of talking, he's not necessarily saying he's in favor of it, but he's definitely downplaying it and memifying it, right, to a degree. And you see this kind of connection, Epstein, Bannon, now Nick is doing the Epstein thing. Maybe Nick now is going to start to push for a Bannon presidency in 2028. Just an interesting connection there. And on that, we did a video in August 2025. This was before really a lot of this generational run happened. I think it was like the beginning of it with Nick. This was right before the Candace interview, I believe, was in October. This was in August. So this was a couple, 2 months beforehand. So let's take a look at what I said here. Got co-opted. Oh, this video also was Nick and Myron and Andrew Tate were basically hashing out the whole Fed, everybody was calling each other feds at this time. I think Candace was beefing and Tucker was beefing with Nick. And I was kind of dissecting it, trying to figure out what exactly was going on. But let's take a look at this in the second term. Maybe the whole point of the Tucker and Candace thing was to bring Nick into the circle. Absolutely. I think it was, well, we can't just like affirm you because we've been talking shit about you forever. And you made compromises with us and our side. Maybe they're going to be on the Steve Bannon side. Maybe Tucker and Candace are going to be on the Steve Bannon side. And they're like, we'll have you on our team. You made compromises with us, but we can't just outright say, hey, Nick's our friend now. That's not going to work. You have to create the spectacle, the illusion of, no, he's actually a bad guy. Watch, he'll have a sit down with Tucker and it'll be this amazing conversation. And he even said that. It doesn't even have to be a debate. It can be a discussion. They'll have a discussion. Tucker will go, yeah, this guy ain't so bad. He's got a... And that's exactly what happened. They sat down. They were beefing for the longest time. They sat down together and you're like, I thought you were a Fed. Well, I thought you were a Fed. You guys remember that? And then... I guess they're on good terms now. I don't even know what the hell that was about. He got a lot of the same takes I have and we have. Now he's on your side. Now he's in your circle. Because you got to think about it. Trump's done, right, after this year, after this administration. What is the future of the right wing going to look like in this country? That's absolutely a pressing question on everybody's mind. Is it going to be the J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel types? The tech bros? They're the presumptive, he's the presumptive nominee. So it's right, but there could be other people that pull out. You know, there's the Thomas Massey's of the world, the libertarian kind of people. They're also around there. But there also could be another Steve Bannon type crowd that kind of pulls out. And it's really, this is the fight for the future of the right wing in this country because it's no longer Trump. Trump's done. So now we're thinking ahead. What's going to be happening in 2028? That's something you absolutely have to think about. And if you can get the Groypers on your side, the people who go out there and go to the events and they are rabid and they are young, that's an asset. And if Nick's looking to legitimize himself in the political sphere, he might absolutely say, this is what I have. I have the AF Institute, whatever it is, the AF PAC. You need to legitimize me and have me on your team. And they say, okay, we can do that as long as you do maybe X, Y, Z. I don't know. I don't know what they are. And he goes, okay, But in order to legitimize it, we have to have a spectacle that gets people on board. We have to have a story to tell and sell to people, like 9/11. We sold you a story to tell. You know, we all went up there in front of Congress and told the fucking story. Tony Blair tells a fucking story.
This is
Anyway, so a little bit, not exactly, because I don't necessarily know if the spectacle that happened back then between Candace, the fight they had on X, and Tucker was also attacking Nick at the time as well. I don't know if that necessarily. So I think I was a little bit off on, okay, they're going to be part of the same group, because I mean, Candace and Nick are like totally not on good terms. I think Candace and Tucker are on good terms, and I think Milo's thrown in there too somewhere. But I don't know. I mean, Nick and Tucker also seem to be not necessarily on the same team, but regardless, if it's shaping up to be Bannon's going to run in 2028, I could see them all coming together under that banner and being part of the same right-wing kind of crowd. I don't know where Andrew Tate and Myron land on that, because I know Andrew Tate, or at least Tristan Tate, talks very favorably about JD Vance. So we'll see how that shakes up. But just an interesting little thing that I talked about months ago, and now he's actually coming forth and saying, "Look, I like a Steve Bannon coming out in 2028 for the presidential run. I would support that." Right, is what he said. A little vindicated. We'll see how things shake up with Tucker and Candace. Maybe they'll, I don't know, come back around, or maybe not. I don't really know. This is all so complicated, and all this shit's happening behind the scenes. And this is largely just speculation on my part based on what they're putting out there and what they're saying and how they're posturing towards each other. I would like to do more of an in-depth analysis of this kind of field. And as we're going to see in a minute, there's a whole other branch that I was largely unaware of until right now that kind of, we'll get to that. But there's a whole other branch out there of a political network that I'm like, damn, now I need to delve into this. It's not Republican Democrat, guys. It's like Republican Democrat, and then you have all these networks underneath that are being backed by special interests and NGOs and think tanks and venture capitalist firms and all these people, man. And then they have connections with other people. They create different nodes and different networks, and then they create products and they sell their products to other people, right? Like Alp, right? That's Tucker's a nicotine pouch. Now his thing is being shilled by people, and I think, okay, I don't know how much of that is just to get the word out there, or if there is like a connection there where that's Tucker's brand. Okay, now you're sponsoring and pushing out. Maybe there's a connection there. I don't know, but it's just interesting because I would have to assume he wouldn't want people who he doesn't like. Maybe either he's neutral towards them, or he does like them. I would assume he wouldn't want people he doesn't like to shill his product, and I would assume those people wouldn't shill his product too. So I don't know. But it's just interesting that they're creating these vast networks that is much more complicated underneath the surface than just Republican Democrat. Republican Democrat is where they land, is where they end up after they get through all the bullshit, right? As we saw with JD Vance, right? After they get through all the crap and wade through all the waters of the billionaires and the NGOs and whatnot. Once they get to the end of that, then they come out as I'm running for the Republican Party. I'm running for the Democrat Party. It's like, okay, but I'd like to see what's going on behind the scenes before they get to that point. But most people don't. They just see what's on the front of it, and it is what it is. Incels aren't easy to manipulate. They're just least resistant to utilizing force and advocating change. I don't know, man. I think they are actually pretty easy to manipulate. Because they all have this, like, especially now, like, okay, if you affirm their loser mentality and the black pill, and then you say, I'm going to be the person who's going to tell you why those things aren't your fault. And some of them aren't their fault, right? That's the beauty of propaganda. Some of it is true, right? Like, I think mass immigration, sending jobs overseas, right? Like these things, they do fuck people over. But it's like to sit there and affirm why you the person, or what you're doing is fine and you can give up because the world is against you, like that kind of shit, people just go, yes, okay, I don't have to do anything. That's one of the reasons why they are least resistant to utilizing force and advocating change. Because, like, what are they? You're telling me what I want to hear. I'm not going to go out and do that, right? Are the poor easier to manipulate than the rich? I think so. I think if you have like a need, yeah, like the poor and prison are broken, right? If you have like a need, if you're somebody who doesn't get food very often and you're starving and somebody tells you, I'll give you food if you go do this for me, wouldn't that person who's poor and starving be easier to manipulate than somebody who does have a lot of food? Then that's like an avenue that you cannot hold over their head. That's like an avenue where you have to go, okay, this person has a lot of food. I have to think of another way to manipulate them. And it's like the easier and the more avenues you have and the easier it is, the closer to home it is, the better chance you have, I think, at manipulating people. The rich get bribed and coerced and persuaded all the time. But a lot of them, other than violence, which is the end of the line, a lot of these people are doing this because there's something that's also benefiting them. They just manipulate it to defend the system rather than to resist it. Why would they defend the system if it wasn't benefiting them? If they're being coerced and persuaded into something that they don't want to do, why wouldn't they just tear it all down because I'm not getting what I want? No, they're getting what they want. A lot of these people are making They're making deals with these people. Oh, okay. You're going to give me what I want? Okay. Well, we can do what you want as well. It's just to what degree? I think there's much more to think about too. If you're rich and somebody says, look, you got to do this. I'm going to put the squeeze on you. You have more avenues to escape that and to potentially flip it around on them. But if you're poor and you are literally like, I have to make rent or I have to have food, that's it, man. It's like one avenue. It's like, well, what can you do? Well, I have no other options. But like poor people or like rich people have so many more options that they can take. They can go and make deals with somebody else that hurts the person that's trying to coerce them. They get manipulated with benefit. You're just describing manipulation. I know, but what I'm saying is that's much more complex, is to have this give and take with the rich. That's harder to deal with because you can't hold something that immediate to them over their head, that they are kind of insulated in a way, that you have to then say, well, I'm going to make a deal with you, rather than saying, well, look, you either just do what I want or I'm not going to give you food, you know? Like, I don't think it's so simple as to say, other than literally killing them, right? Other than physically threatening them with violence, which we do see that happen. But I don't think that that's always the measure that they want to take. They would rather just have a deal with you, and that usually comes with compromises, a give and take. They always opt for a system of controlling, blackmailing, bribing a few rich elites. Yeah, but okay, so when we're talking about like propaganda, then what do those rich elites do? They go and project their image and their message onto the rest of the population. And the poor have less, but perhaps they have is less controlled by outside forces. I also don't even know how much power would it be, like, if you don't control the poor, how much blowback would that even cause too? But if you don't control like an oil baron or something, there would be way more blowback. I don't know. Like, that is an interesting question, but I would say that it's easier to control the masses, the the people who are starving for something, it would be easier to control than people who have a lot, because then you have to figure out what pressure point do I attack from the person who has a lot. Versus somebody who's like, I very easily know what you want and what you don't have, and I can attack that right at the root. Because a lot of these people, that they have to get blackmail on them and shit like that, right? And like, that's like harder than just saying, hey, look, you don't have something, I can provide it to you if you do what I want. I don't know. Everything the poor have to gain is untasted and shadowy. There's more to lose. The richer. This is interesting. I've actually never thought about this, but my first instinct, and maybe I need to think about this harder. Why don't they blackmail the poor? I think they are, in a way, right? I think they're like, well, not directly maybe, but yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing I've never really thought about. But I'll say this about the incel thing, preying on the sensibilities of people who are in a negative mind space like that, and giving them this kind of hopium, right? This kind of copium, and telling them that you will be kind of the savior, and you tell them all the reasons why they're correct, I think is absolutely a useful tool on these people. I think that is true. I mean, like I said, the same thing with the left does with like the deranged trans leftists and all this shit, is that they play on the weakness, and they'll say, they scare the shit out of them, saying that everybody's a Nazi coming to kill you. And if you don't vote for us, well, like, they don't necessarily outright say it, that you're like in a weak position, you're on the government dole, you're on whatever. But like, that's implied that, okay, if you are on welfare, if you're an illegal immigrant and you're in a lesser position, these people are going to oppress you, right? It's like oppressor-oppressee dynamic there. And I think that motivates people. That gets people moving if they feel like there's like an immediate threat at them. But it's because they're in that lesser position. It's because they didn't go through the correct channels of migrating into the country. It's because they can't work to survive, to suffice and to sustain themselves, that they have to be on the government dole. That's how that they use those as channels of control and coercion on a mass scale. And then you throw in the SSRIs and shit on top of it, and I think that, yeah, a lot of these people are just out of their minds and crazy. I think that is why the left has been so animated in particularly the last 15 years or so, because I think people were playing on that element of people, this kind of existential threat of their identity and their, of their lives in some sense, right? And I think that they want to twist that and put that onto the right wing, where they have this group of young men who are totally disillusioned with the world, and they're black-pilled, and they feel as though they have nothing to lose, and the world's against them, right? I think they want to animate the right in that way. And I think we're going to start seeing that, honestly. They threaten to take away benefits, right? I think it's a mental thing too, right? Like, if you're in a negative mental space all the time, there is like, you get a sip of hopium, and I feel like people take that and they run with it, and they become addicted to that, to knowing that what they're doing is right and fine and normal, and that it's not the experiences you're in, the situation you're in is not your fault, and that I have the answers to that thing. Like, that is something that I think there's something to that. Now, it is an interesting conversation to have. Now, who is easier to manipulate? The rich or the poor? You get into that. There's a lot less rich people too, right? Very, very wealthy people. I don't know. That is a tough one. You know, I would actually have to think about that more because my initial reaction was no, hell no, dude, the richer. But now as we're talking through it, you know, maybe I would have to think about that more. But that wasn't even really the conversation. Honestly, King of Sheba, that wasn't even really what the conversation was. That was just saying that there is a subsect of the population that are, Bannon said incels are easier to manipulate. And I tend to agree with that. I think there is a degree. Maybe, you know, it's on a spectrum. Maybe once you get so low in your life, maybe you are easier to manipulate than like the average person. But maybe you get to a certain point to where maybe you're harder to manipulate. And maybe that's the point, is they want to keep people below that state of being you know, of being self-sufficient, where if you're relying on the government or relying on other people in some sense, maybe for opium or anything, whatever, government benefits, maybe that they want people to be at that point. They don't want you to go up any further than that. And then maybe it is like middle class supremacy, right? Maybe once you get even higher, you become like the upper 1%. Maybe those people are, because they're easier to target. I don't know. Maybe that's why they want to get rid of the middle class. They want to create this like this subservient underclass that has nothing and is totally reliant on the elite and the powers that be. And then this small upper class that is easily controlled by like a handful of people. Let's take it to the street as an IRL and try to manipulate hobos and bankers. How are you going to manipulate a banker? Obviously, let's keep violence out of this, because I think that's always something you can manipulate somebody with. Obviously, you pull a gun on somebody, but like other than that, because I mean, that's always going kinetic, right? But I think that's like a last resort for a lot of these people. I don't know how I could probably manipulate a hobo with like $5 and a 40. Easily. I think I can go give $20 to a homeless guy and he would probably do what I want. Especially if he's addicted to drugs. Easy. But if I go try and talk to a Wall Street banker and say, "Hey man, I'll give you $200 if you do it," he'll probably be like, "Get the fuck out of here." Even if I wanted to offer him drugs, maybe he's on drugs too. "Hey man, I got drugs." He's going to be like, "Dude, I can go get drugs from my guy. I don't even need you." See, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, no, dude, I think actually I'm right. I don't know. It's a whole discussion. We got to move along. Just an interesting tidbit, though. This whole Steve Bannon thing, interesting tidbit on way things are going. This really wasn't even going to be that much of a segment because I didn't really have that much to go to talk about with it. But it's just an interesting thing I saw on the timeline and the connections between Epstein and Bannon, and then now Nick is kind of memifying Epstein a little bit, and now he's talking about wanting to vote for him in a 2028 election. We'll see. Let's keep our eyes on that. We'll see how the Groypers, what they do, where they go, what avenues they take. I guess we would have to coerce the banker in a different way, get pride involved. Yeah, but that's like, you're already like, that's already way harder than just throwing a homeless guy a 20. Like right there, I could just be like, "Here's $20. Can you go and..." It also depends on what you're asking them to do. You know, that's another thing. If I'm asking him to go and run into I don't even know, go and attack someone, they might be like, "No, I'm not doing that." But like, maybe if it's something, it has to be worth the rub. That's another thing too. Is like, there's a lot of dimensions to this. You could get a hooker to dance for $10. Could you? But let's see who can get 1,000 faster. Let's see who can get 1,000. I don't even know what that means. I don't know. We got to move along though. I saw this video. This is a secret war. Actually, this was a 4chan post I saw like a month ago. And this guy did a video on it. So from the hooker or the banker? Who can get 1,000 faster? I would say the banker. The banker probably is making $1,000 as we talk to him. He probably has literally, he probably is getting interest on his investments that is probably accruing to more than $1,000 as we're speaking to him. The wealthy also can be easily taught to hold the poor in contempt. Then the threat is not just we will make you poor, as we will make you the poor. You will be them. Yeah, it's interesting. Who can we manipulate 1K from easier? Well, was this even the conversation? I feel like we're going to a different. Take money from, who can we manipulate it from easier? I mean, I could rob a hooker easier than I could rob a banker. If that's, or if we're saying not using. Oh, wait, I know, I don't know. This is over text. I'm trying to read this. This is hard. Leave me alone. This is hard. You try and be behind the screen and read this slop in your chat. Trying to argue with me about manipulating the rich or the poor. Who could you get? You could get a hooker to dance for $10, but let's see who you can get 1,000 faster. Who can get 1,000 faster from the hooker or the banker? That's what you said. I'm saying who can we manipulate 1K from easier? Listen. I was not prepared for this hypothetical. Okay, let me think about this. Who can I get $1,000? Who can I manipulate $1,000 from faster? I still think the hooker. We're talking about man or a woman. Oh, now we're getting into the gender thing. Anyways, let's just move along. King of Sheba will have to return to this conversation at a future date when I'm more prepared to have it and I have more time. And we're getting up on schizo hours too. Let's race. But that wasn't the argument, because, even if you were like, you could go up in, like, if you're trying to say the guy with a lot of money would be way quicker to give away $1,000, like, than the person, than the hooker. Was that, I mean, that's not really what we were talking about. We're talking about that's the inverse of what we were talking about. Because I was saying, I'm saying you can hold things over people's heads, and that money might not be something you could hold over the rich guy's head. Or cutting off certain avenues of trying to cut off avenues from things from the rich guy would be harder because he has a lot more by coercion or whatever. But the hooker, it would be way easier, I feel like, because she has less to go off of, in the dangers in her field, and what she does are way more immediate than the rich guy. The rich guy is basically insulated from so many immediate dangers that if you take violence out of it, right, that he's not really afraid of starving. He's not really afraid of. I don't know. It has a money bias. See who you can blackmail. Yeah, but like, that's the thing, is like, money is power projection, right? It's soft power. So I don't know. With nudes, right? I don't know, man. This is a tough conversation to have over text, because I'm gonna have to think about this more. I think a lot of it has to do with also your mental state. I said that earlier, is if you're in a mental state of desperation, And I think a lot of times that mental state of desperation comes from your immediate surroundings. And like maybe there's something to like passively, like there's like a passive pressure on poor people where maybe the pressure on a rich person would be much more active. Like you would have to go and bribe them, right? You have to actively bribe them, or you have to actively go and coerce them with, you know, blackmail or whatever, which again would be harder than a passive kind of. Because it's like way more blanket almost. Because if I affirm to the incels that not having a girlfriend, not having a good job, not having, right, this is like a shotgun blanket approach to a mass of people that I can just talk about, I can just say passively, and people will be receptive to that. Whereas a rich person, I would actually have to go and like contact them, and I would have to find out their phone number, where they live. I'd have to go and get the pictures on them. I'd probably have to hire somebody to do that. Like there's way more active involvement. I don't know. Like there's something to that too. It's almost like the poor people are easier to manipulate because there are these age-old, you know, there are these biological, physiological needs that everybody has, right? Love, companionship, food, right? The physical safety, and those things you can just blanket out there about them if you get like, if there's an ability for you to kind of see through kind of the general lens about people, about how people are living and how what the current issues are in the world. I think that it's easier to just make a blanket approach, but then you have to, for a specific person, you would have to go and do all this research and all this effort and everything. I don't know. And numerically, you'd have to manipulate like 30 poor to every one rich. Well, that's true. There's a question. Would you rather manipulate, if you were manipulating someone, would you rather manipulate 1,000 poor people or one rich person? That's a separate argument. Effectiveness of manipulation is different than ease of doing so. Cheese never goes bad. I was thinking the same thing. Does cheese ever go bad? If you don't see mold on it, it's good, man. It basically is. Isn't it mold itself? So whatever. I'm going to grab some more beverage here. We're going to go into the schizo hours. We'll get on this video and then we'll jump into the clavicular thing right after. We've gotten way off topic here. I almost feel like I wish this was a conversation. This would be an interesting conversation. Over the text, it's tough to decipher. It's tough to see. I have to wait, a little tougher, but regardless, this is an interesting debate, been interesting back and forth. Maybe we could have it again, King of Sheba at a later date, but I'm going to go grab something to drink real quick and we'll be right back for the schizo hour. So give me 1 second. Nobody go nowhere. Don't you touch that dial. Okay, we are back. It is 8 o'clock on the dot. Schizo hours, 8:01 now. That was quick. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, like the stream. Come on, people. We can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can click one button. Helps me out a ton. Helps me out so much. It's all I think about. Anyways, how are you guys liking the Friday stream? I'm enjoying it. It's going pretty good. Anyways, let's check this out. It is now Schizo hours. Put your Schizo takes in the chat. Schizos unite. Let me hear them. Let me hear what they are. Let me see what they are. If there's something interesting, I will chat about it. Like King of Sheba just did. He got me on a freaking tangent. Got me monologuing about rich people and poor people. But I don't know. That was interesting. That was an interesting conversation. I think ease and effectiveness was an interesting element that Alexandra brought in. Yeah, maybe it's easier to manipulate poor people, but more effective to manipulate rich people. That might be true. I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. We'll have to have that again at a later date. Anyways, let's check this out.
Schizos into office. This is the secret war that's... We need to vote schizos into office. This is the secret war that's been going on since the dawn of time. Now, most of the world is made up of normies. Now, these people are taken advantage of very easily by psychos. They prey on these people, they manipulate these
These are your
people, they
CEOs.
trick these people. Normies, unfortunately, cannot see psychos, but you know who can?
The schizos. That's
The heroes of
us.
our story.
That's
Schizos
us.
are the natural predator of psychos. We
Yes.
have pattern recognition abilities that are inexplicable. Now, schizos were once upon a time revered as the kind of wise people of their collective groups. Unfortunately, since psychos run the world, they've convinced all the normies to be afraid of the schizos. I make videos sometimes online and my wife tells me, look at my Aura ring. My heart rate increased to a very stressful state watching your video, and then it went back down. Sorry, babe. Psychos benefit from their lack of empathy and their attraction to cruelty, it seems, and that allows them to accrue a lot of power. That power allows them to manipulate the normies to fear the schizo, to ostracize the schizo, to deny the schizo. It never feels very good to say, I told you so, when you're a schizo, and the I told you so's you're seeing are about like pedo elites running the world and stuff like that. That feels bad when you go, well, I told you so. But schizos, wish we'd listened to you sooner. But that's my point. We need to stop fearing and ostracizing the schizo and start opening our ears and hearts to hear the truth that they're telling us. Because the conspiracy theorist schizo is almost always right. Now, yes, they'll get some of the details around the edges a little wrong. It sounds a little literal. You need to understand it as poetry and metaphor. I'll give you an example. Birds aren't real. That's a fun conspiracy theory, that they're just little listening device robots that exist. Now, there are real birds. We know that to be true. But are there also listening devices and surveillance devices everywhere, hidden in the natural world, it seems? We don't even know what the natural world is anymore. We can't even trust if the world is natural or not anymore. They're doing things without telling us. They're observing us constantly. Yes, yes. There are things in the sky that are alien to us flying around. That could just be drones. That's all true. One thing I've noticed, there aren't any schizo politicians I can think of. Lots of normies, plenty of
We thought
psychos.
Trump was going to be
They seem
that,
to make up our
but
entire government.
he's just a normal
What we
psycho.
need to do, start supporting the schizos. We need to vote schizos into office as soon as we can. Let's use voting. That's a weapon. And let's start looking for more schizo candidates. Let's get some real weirdos in there. Because at this point, what they're doing, that seems pretty weird to me. They think it's too big to fail.
The schizos are like,
think
let's
we need
wait
to
and
blow
see. Yeah. That was good. That was good. 2016 really making a comeback. Dude, it's been making a comeback since early 2024. I'm not sure schizos and psychos are not the same breed, though, and shift back and forth. It's like a psycho, a psycho is basically a schizo that has direction. Schizos are just like seeing the world as it comes at them, trying to figure out the secrets of the universe, right? And the psycho's just like, look, I am a schizo, but I'm going to direct this energy towards one thing, climbing the corporate ladder, right? That's something psychos love to do. I just had a conversation with my coworker about that. He's a normie for sure. Normie, but no, he might be a psycho, just a low level, grunts psycho. But he was telling me, why can't you, we were having a conversation and he was saying something like, why can't you just be more corporate, more like, oh, that's what it was. Basically, we had a higher up come in last week and nobody told me. Nobody told me this person was coming in. And I don't know who they are. And they come in and we had a little bit of a run in. And because I'm like, they're coming in and they're saying stuff and they're bossing me around. And I'm like, it was 8 a.m. I just woke up. I said, who are you? Who are you? And he says his name. And then I go and I'm like, okay. And he just like walks away. I go and look on the directory and he's like, oh, he's like 5th from the CEO. Right? He's like a pretty high up guy. And I'm like, oh shit. So then I told him, I said, look, for future reference, man, can you tell me when a higher up's coming in? Because then I will put on my corporate face and I will shower in the morning and I will, I'll look better and I'll come off. I'll be presentable. And he said, why can't you always be like that? And I said, well, my first thought was, well, I don't really want to be here anyways. So the thought of having to put in more, give more of myself over and my personality at that, right? You're telling me to be more corporate, to speak more inclusive and be more, upright and proper. It's like, okay, you're telling me to suppress my own schizo personality for the sake of the psycho. I was like, no, dude, I'm not. I said, look, I can do it at times, but if I had to do that the whole time I worked here, I would have quit a year ago. I would have quit. If people were on me all the time about my appearance, about how I act, about what I talk about, I would have quit so long ago. And as we start to talk more and more, and he's saying, people who act like that, though, they're generally happier and they're more successful and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, happier. What do you mean? What does that mean? First of all, and more successful, you mean in terms of the corporate world? You climb the corporate ladder better? I said, you know what those types of people are who climb the corporate ladder like that? You know what they are? They're the dark triad, right? They are the psychopaths. I said, the people at the top, the CEOs and all those people are the psychopaths of the world. They're the cutthroat psychopaths. And I said, I look at that, I look at those traits in those people, and I think I don't want anything to do with the top, the echelon, right? That's the best I could be. That's the LeBron James of being a CEO. That's the LeBron James of the corporate world. And I'm like, if that's what I'm striving for, if that's the end, I have to be that kind of person. I have to completely destroy my own personality and give myself over to the capitalist corporate structure. If that's what I have to do, I said, I'm good. I'm good on that. I'll play this game because I have to. That's another thing too, is you have to work. You can't not work. So I'll play the game as, I'll jockey as much as I can. But if somebody's going to tell me to completely lobotomize myself, really, if somebody's going to tell me to do that, you can fuck off, because the ends of that are insane dark triad psychopaths, right? So I told him, I don't want any part of that. I'll do it so I can get along to make you guys happy. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be like that for 8 hours a day. I'm not going to be like that in my personal life. Screw you, man. I'm a person. He didn't understand, because he is a grunt level psychopath mixed with a quasi normie flavor too. You get what you pay for. Yeah, that's true. I should say that. Look, look, you're only paying me so much. MTG schizo, yeah. Psycho is like a beautiful, wealthy schizo. Yes. LOL base J Money. Yeah. I didn't cuss him out. Listen, I don't think it was that. I did feel bad because I was like shit after I figured out, because I thought he was just a customer. I literally thought he was just a guy like walking in, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Look, he was getting on me because I parked in the handicap spot. All right. There was nowhere else to park. Our parking is atrocious. It's 7:59. I have to clock in 1 minute, park in the handicap spot, run in, clock in. And he said, "Hey man, you parked in the handicap." I said, who the fuck are you? Oh, you're a higher up? Okay, yes, Massa. I'll go do that real quick. Look, handicapped people don't exist. They're not real. Listen, as soon as they started giving those damn placards to fat people, that's when I realized this was a scam and a piece of shit. Waste of time. If you're a vet, if you don't have any legs or arms, if you're blind, if you're Helen Keller, all right, you know what? But the fatzos, give me a break. Give me a break. I did move the car, by the way. I did move the car. Once I saw that he was my superior, I went, okay, I'm moving the car. But changing my whole personality for these people, no. That's where I draw a line. Look, I can move the car. Now that I'm awake and I've had my coffee and I'm in a better mood, listen, I'll move the damn car. And the fact of the matter is like, I'm not the only one who does that, okay? I'm not the only one who parks in the handicap spot at my place, because I've never once seen a handicapped person where I work. I understand it's a code or whatever, a violation or whatever the hell. But like, dude, we are so secluded. We are way off the main road. Nobody comes back there. It's like, and if I didn't take it, somebody else would have. Literally, another one of my coworkers would have just taken it. Happy just equals more money to him? Right, yeah, I know. I look at you and I'm like, bro, you've got more money than me, but I'm having way more fun than you. Let me just say that. I have so much fun. You know, that's the thing, is like, everybody's always depressed and seething all the time, and they're angry and jittery and running around and pulling their hair out. And I'm like, dude, chill out, bro. I'm having fun. I'm having fun, dude. I don't know what you guys are so uptight about. And it's not like I'm saying I don't get my work done. Like, I get all my work done. I do everything to the best of my ability, but like, I'm having fun while I do it. You can piss off if you don't think I'm going to have fun while I do it. Almost daily, briefly meeting with the owner of the company I work at. Always awkward. Yeah. Cause you can't say, it's like meeting your girlfriend's parents. It's like, I can't just be me, right? I hate not being able to be me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm like a crazy person or something, or I'm like violent or whatever, right? If that's who you are, as being a violent, crazy person, okay, maybe you shouldn't be you. But you have to, you kind of, I impose these structures on myself. I impose these ways of acting. I try to on myself as much as I can, that are fruitful and virtuous. I try to do that. But I want to do it on my own terms. I want to integrate it in my own way. I don't want you to be oppressing upon me how you want. It's not even virtue, right? It's just you impressing the corporate speak and the corporate identity on me. That's just like bullshit capitalist psychobabble. Fuck that. Being a moral person, I don't think my coworker thinks about that. If they pay you enough, would you? Honestly, I don't know. Here's the thing, is that if I was getting paid like six figures, would I be more willing to placate and have a stick up my ass all day? I honestly, it would be, I don't think I would. I think I would be like, dude, I really don't care about money. Like, I care about money insofar as that I need to do it to pay for rent and shit. But like, people who really care about money, like making, I don't, things just are not, I don't care that much. But people are like really, some people are really animated by money, having money. And I've just never been that person. I just need enough to suffice and have a decent standard of living. I do revenue reconciliation, and whenever I point out revenue leakage, all the psychos are all hands on deck, right? I heard Helen Keller was fake. Yes, dude, that's so funny you said that, because as soon as that came out of my mouth, I thought, you know what? I think she's fake too. So the fat people with the handicap placards, Helen Keller, are there any disabled people out there? Do they even exist? Birds aren't real. We know that's true. I don't think handicapped people are real either. In the movie CEO, the CEO stares, then laughs and goes, I like this man, spunk, promote him. In reality, they add calmly to your manager before they leave. Oh, and whoever that guy is at the front desk, fire him. Yeah. No, I made sure to ask. I said, look, do you think I'm going to be? And they're like, no, dude, you might get written up. But I don't even think I got written up, so. Jacob, what does God want you to do? That's the real question I want to ask. If success, monetary success comes my way, so be it. I'll take it. I mean, hey, I'll take it. But it's not, my goal isn't to be the richest person. But there are some people who that is their goal, is to be the richest person. And it's like, that's just never been my cup of tea. I never really cared that much. See, the poor are hard to manipulate. We come full circle. I'm not poor though. See, like, that's the thing, is that I have a sufficient standard of living to where I'm not starving, to where I can afford things. And the fact of the matter is actually that goes into my point, because my boss could pressure me by saying, I'm going to fire you, which would be my immediate surroundings would be affected. And therefore I have to, and I said that I would do it for the time being if I needed to, but it's just that degree to which I would want to do that. And I wouldn't want to do it all the time. But I think that goes to my point, actually, is because I'm in a lesser position. It's easier for him to manipulate me with losing my job. I don't know. Yeah, they need to be poor with a drug problem. Right. If I was poor on the, starving with a drug problem, addicted to drugs, like, that's the whole point, is that if I can get to a position to where I am self-sufficient, I ain't working anymore. I ain't going to be subservient to these people. I don't know, but that was funny. That video was good. All right, let's move along. We're going to get into it. This is one of our topics, outlying topics for tonight is clavicular. And I waited so long to talk about this goofball because I was going to talk about him when he first came on the scene like 2-3 months ago, whenever that was. And I honestly just was watching him in interviews and shit. And I was like, this guy, I just totally hate him so much. The essence, the aura he puts off is so just not what I'm about, like, at all. He's like the opposite. This guy, see, he's a psycho. He would thrive in the corporate world. He would be fine. Me, no. Miss me with that shit. Teal's Call Boys. That's the reason why I'm getting into it today. Because there's been some more developments. Because back then, a few months ago, there was little things here and there. But recently, there's been more developments with Clavicular potentially having connections with Peter Thiel. And that's what's really interesting to me. That's what's really interesting to the schizo. Okay. Him, for his sake, I didn't even want to promote him. I didn't want to talk about him. It just was like, I don't care. But now that there might be a potential connection to Peter Thiel, I'm like, delicious, delicious content. That's probably what the guy is striving for. What, to be to be top dog. Well, I don't. He's being used by the top dog. Is probably what it is. I think ultimately he's being used to push transhumanism. That's what he is. He's basically the inverse of transgender. He is, the transgendered are, oh, we're going to change our gender or sex or whatever to the opposite because, you know, you have to affirm all that bullshit we went through with the woke. You have to affirm me, you know, my pronoun, my neo pronouns. We are not bound by the limitations of our biology, right, people? And everybody's like, you're crazy. But then you get Clavicular, who's doing it, but he's doing it in the inverse, to where he's maxing out his gender, where he's not switching to go to female, even though you have a lot of that in the sphere as well. He's pressing further on being more of a masculine male through technology. And we know Peter Thiel has talked about transgenderism, specifically in that famous interview he did, the New York Times Ross Douthat interview. And he talked about transgender, transforming yourself. And he talked about Orthodox Christianity doesn't go far enough. We can transcend through technology our human fleshy bodily forms, right? So this is something that's right up his alley. And I think this is just all promotion of transhumanism. So let's take a look at this. This is collab. I have a smattering of different clips of him talking about Peter Thiel. And maybe we'll get a little bit better of a insight on what is going on. Thiel bailed Clav out of jail. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Bro, I called up Ed the other day and I was like, yo.
Oh, hang on. This is from December. Okay. This is from December 2025. So 3 months ago.
Bro, I called up Ed the other day and I was like, yo, I got an invite to this party with a bunch of billionaires.
What company was it?
Bro, I don't even know.
want to start even state.
Yeah, let's not even don't even give them a club, bro. They're listening right now. Anyway, we're like, all right. And then I asked the guy, I'm like, bro, like, can we stream? Motherfucker says no. And then he's like, you can only come on your own. And I'm like, whoa, like, what the fuck? So I call up Ed. I'm like, yo, like, Ed, like, you know, maybe he could pull up to this. He's an influencer too. Motherfuckers are acting all sus, bro. And I was like, nah, G, like, I'm straight off that.
They're the parties you avoid.
Bro, I called up Ed the other day and I was like,
okay, so didn't outright say it there. So he didn't outright admit that it was Peter Thiel who hit him up. But after that clip from Tim Dillon some months back that we watched, where he said they're calling up everybody, they're calling up all the influencers and trying to have them have parties at their house, have dinner at their house, talk about culture and media. Ever since he said that, it's like that puts all these people in a different perspective. And then you hear it from Clav's mouth where it's like, yeah, he's hitting us up to want to go to a party. And we're going to see in a minute where he actually explicitly says it. It's interesting to think about. Okay, why would we want you there? Well, to influence your opinion and to potentially coerce you or to get you to talk about things that they want you to talk about. So this is from February 9th. No, this is actually, I think, before that. I think this was from January. This clip is just posted after.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is? Peter Thiel, yeah. He's a billionaire that owns Palantir. I got invited to a Peter Thiel party. You think that's going to be a Diddy party? Probably. Whew. Billionaires, they get a little creepy. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't want to get diddied. Hey, anybody that's working a lot after they make like $100 million has some mental issues. Well, you want to run around?
Psychopaths.
I mean, anyone who makes a lot of money like that, $100 million, has something wrong with them. Yeah. Do you know,
So right there, he admitted it. Hey, do you know who this guy is? Do you know who Peter Thiel is? It's also kind of gay. Looks maxing is kind of gay, and so is Thiel. Yeah, I know. Peter Thiel probably loves this shit. Oh yeah, big muscles. Yeah, I love the. No, he'd be like, the looks maxing Gooner maxers are actually the future. Dude, that's actually like Jester, bro. Remember Mr. Beast saying Clav was the best up-and-coming streamer for all the drama? I did not see that. Can you post that? I actually didn't see that. You see how this like landscape of the internet where everything is being recorded and you get little tidbits of things. If you're just watching this guy, it's like you're just totally ignorant of what's going on behind the scenes. But then they say little things here and there, and then people make connections and they say, and it's just like, oh, wow, there's a whole network here. There's this whole background of funding and people pushing messages and pushing ideas into the sphere, into the online sphere. And it's just like, whoa. He came out of nowhere too. Absolutely. He came out of nowhere. It's just like, here's Clavicular. And who did I see? I saw him first and foremost with Mr. Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes started doing things with him on TikTok. And I was like, who the fuck is this loser? Clavicular. I'm like, I literally was like, what kind of a name is that? What the hell does that even mean? It's like clavicle and testicular. What the fuck is even that? Who thought up that name? Hey, man, your PR team needs to think of a better name. So then you had this whole, he got mocked. ASU frat leader. He went down to Arizona and the frat leader mogged him. He's frame mogging him. All this like newspeak too is just like mog, I feel like kind of works. I like mog. Jester is never going to work. And just adding maxing on the end of things is retarded. You can use it sparsely here and there. You can make your, but just to add maxing onto everything. I'm hunger maxing right now, guys. I'm stream maxing right now. I'm schizo maxing. that one works. That one's kind of funny. But it's just like dumb. They're adding it to everything. And it's just like, dude, this newspeak is just so stupid. So people are saying this guy looks like Peter Thiel. Kind of does. It kind of does. Or we should see a new I want to look at like a recent photo of him. Well, I got this thing cut off, so it's kind of like. Okay. Like this? Maybe? Maybe? It's literally lab-grown Peter Thiel. Maybe he grew him in a vat somewhere. I could see it. I could see it. They're growing people out of vats. I mean, where do you do like IVF and shit, right? He's maxing. Yes, I am maxing tonight. I'm Friday night maxing. And Peter Thiel does have kids with his gay husband, by the way. But I don't think this is one of them. At least not publicly made as one of them. And now XQC calls him out for viewbotting and being an industry plant. I think this is absolutely true, as Adorable Waffles said in chat. I think he is just, because I feel like all you got to do is just have, because there's certain clip channels and there's certain people. It's like, just tell them like, listen, kid, get out there and start streaming. Just get out there with a phone. We'll set you up. We'll pay for the good phone, a streaming setup. Just get out there. We'll get you put on all these podcasts. People will clip them. Like, it's almost like it's easier than ever to be famous. If you just like put these people up there and just the algorithm does the rest. And the algorithm is also being tweaked by, these people, the technocrats.
XQC calls out Clavicular for botting and being an industry plant. Bro, like, I feel like people think I'm more like, 0 to 100 than I am. I was very big on TikTok. I think I had 550K on TikTok before I actually had that one collab with Cheezer that actually like got me into streaming. So I was still pretty big and pretty well known. I had some pretty, viral moments, like the what? XUC
No, you
calls
didn't,
out
bro. You had zero virality before this bullshit. X is right. This is like a psyop at some point, and they're literally, it's culture creation. That's what this is. Culture creation and creating internet personalities to go out there and shill their bullshit ass talking points of transhumanism or whatever the hell it is.
Is to take over 10 hours for the stream marathon, so I'm gonna try to work some of that in.
Look, he's literally like injecting himself with
Crazy,
shit.
man. Already donated 500 and 150 subs. What the fuck? Crazy. P, send. Wait, what? WP? Yeah, put on Pushin P, his song. Actually, I don't know how to connect the
Pushin P.
whatever. So I'm gonna throw some.
Is that Peter Thiel's song? His favorite song, Pushin P.
30 mg. Is to take over 10 hours.
There are people speculating that P, this person donating, they're donate maxing to Clavicular. They think that they're suspecting that could be Peter Thiel himself. Bro is gay maxing for a billionaire gooner. Dude, for real. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't, you cannot scroll down on X, man. Just like you can never swipe over on somebody's phone when they show you a picture. You cannot scroll down on X. Okay, so then there was this whole debacle when he went down to ASU, and it was nonstop on the timeline. The algorithm was tweaked up for Clavicular. Also, why I think that my post, my stream notification on X got 500 views in 10 minutes was because I put the keyword Clavicular in there. I'm gonna actually, this will be in the YouTube algorithm. It's gonna be Clavicular in the title. We'll see how well this does in the algorithm. Because I think there's somebody over there who's tweaking something to put this guy on the front page of everything, because that ASU frame mug was like everywhere. Every single thing I scrolled down, I just got on one day and it was everywhere. And I'm sure anybody else who's on X in chat knows exactly what I'm talking about. So he got frame mugged or whatever the fuck, and then he got arrested for, I think it was underage drinking or fake ID, and then for pills or something like that, right? And then he was facing felony counts. All that got dropped. He got released. Then he's like afraid about, oh, I can't do certain things. Then he goes to this party. He gets invited to this party, which we're going to look at in a minute. But we have Sneeko here's reaction to him getting invited to this party.
Peter Thiel loves Clav. Do you know that he invited him into his party probably to try to diddy him?
Sensational.
Like, he probably just wanted to get Clav there to go and
Sensational.
fucking do an Epstein Island little ritual on him because he hates him so much. What do you think he was inviting him for that party for? Because he really cares about his input about looks maxing? No, he just wanted to infiltrate. He sees Clavicular as the representation of the bullies. He went to school. According to this video, Peter Thiel grew up in a Nazi area, or his father grew up in a Nazi area where they still did Hitler salutes, with an ultra
South Africa,
white
I think,
nationalist
right?
Christian background. Clavicular to Peter Thiel is the physical representation of that. And so he invites him to his party probably to try to do some Epstein shit on him, you know what I'm saying? Get the baby oil ready and get his revenge. Peter Thiel loves Clav. Do you know that he invited him into his party probably to try to diddy him? Like,
No, dude. Maybe that's the end goal, right? Is to provide funding for him, push him through the algorithm, get him famous, and then take him to a party to where they can coerce him in some sort of way, like they did with blackmail, like they did with Epstein and all these people is blackmailing these people, and then you basically have to do what they want. I want you to have dirt on someone. I bet there are adult clones out there now secretly. Yeah, I see a lot of people who look alike. A lot of people say I look familiar, so maybe I'm a clone. Injecting that meth, but of course. Is that what he's doing there? Is he injecting? I thought it was like, I don't know, whatever these people inject. Does he inject meth? I thought he smokes it. It was in a vial. I don't think you get meth in a vial like that. Do you? I think it would be like in a little aluminum foil thing. I don't even know. So we got Sam Tripoli here. Makes wild allegations about Clavicular at a Peter Thiel party.
That streamer that like takes math and looks maxes, Clavicular.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Thiel slid right in there.
What? Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he slid.
Oh, God.
He was invited to a party hosted by billionaire Peter Thiel, the co-founder of
dude.
Palantir.
They lit that dude off.
Oh, wow.
They just got in them guts.
I'm telling you, dude. I think that the Miami 7, I don't know that they're all closeted gay men, but some of them must be.
There's been some man action.
Extremely repressed homosexuality, and I think that's sad.
I think they should be the queens they want to be.
100%.
That streamer that like takes meth and
I don't even know if that. I just think this guy from the get-go was just grown in a lab. He was pushed to the forefront, and he's going to be the new poster child for transhumanism. That's what I think it was. And maybe there's an element, like I said, about trying to coerce him, get into these parties, having a Diddy party. But like, dude, this guy already is a scum ass. Like, he's already doing meth and shit. Like, I don't even know. I mean, other than like underage shit, I guess that's what it is that if you get him on that, because everything else, it's like, dude, he's already basically in that shit. He's already a scummy guy on camera. Nobody cares. Sam and his friends believe literally almost anything they see online. Tim Dillon got invited to meet Teal too. Doesn't mean much. Tim Dillon is an openly gay man. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then they're kind of fusing in the Nick Fuentes speak to Wang half. Feels like defamation, low key. He's doing so much for Peter's transhumanism agenda. Yeah. The implementation, the kind of combination, cybernetics. I mean, Neuralink's right on the way too. It's like, yeah, this is what I see is like, okay, I think like we're already kind of there with like, we were already kind of pushing that. First it was, fake breasts, and then it was like transgender, and then it was like BBLs, and then now the next thing is going to be just injecting yourself with all kinds of shit because we're going to have to frame log all my coworkers. It's like inching along. What's the next personality, the next component of culture creation going to look like? What are they going to be? I guess they'll have the chips in their brain. I guess they'll have the computer, the phone implemented into their hand. I mean, is this not just gearing us towards some sort of Mark of the Beast thing where it's like, now you're going to get, it's softening the blow for when that comes, where they're going to inject you with some sort of ID, some sort of verification, CBDC, I don't even know. Okay, so he apparently goes to, after this ASU thing, he apparently goes to some sort of rave. And this is the part that I have not delved too much into, is the Remilio shit. I don't know, Pigeon Post, I don't know if you know much about that. You seem tapped into a lot of these things. Do you know much about the Remilio side of things? The Charlotte Fang, all that shit. Yes, yeah. I actually, admittedly, I've known about this Remilio thing for a long time, never delved too much into it. Didn't know it was that much of a thing. I thought it was largely I mean, I guess it is pretty niche, but apparently he was invited to a Remilio party and he went. But then Nick's on here, he's sweeping for him. He's saying, well, actually, he went in and he was there for 5 minutes, saw it was how lame it was, and then he left. Let's check this out.
We have another story about Clavicular tonight.
Wait, let's go a little faster.
And that's why I'm a little bit late. I told you I was going to do the show at 9:30. I wound up going live at like 10:30. And that's because I was watching Clavicular stream. And the reason being is because he was conspicuously released from prison in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Charges dropped. And then all of a sudden, he's on this flight to New York City for this Milady rave party. And I'm sure for the vast majority of people watching, you don't even know what that is. You've never heard of it. And I'll tell you.
So he gets pinched in Arizona and is facing felonies. That's a prime time for somebody like a billionaire like Peter Thiel to pull connections, to pay off the font, whatever it is, to get him out on bail. I don't even know what it, but that's the prime time for somebody to pinch you and say, listen, dude, if you want if you want freedom, if you want to not have to face these charges, go to my party, right? Maybe hey, go to my party, meet up with these people. I've been trying to get you to go to my parties for the last 3 months. I'll bail you out of jail. I'll get all the charges dropped. You got to go to my party. I don't know. It's hard to describe what it is. Isn't it like, it was like an NFT cult like thing, right? That's from what the cursory glances I've done at it. It's created. It's an internet cult basically around this NFT. Charlotte Fang created this NFT, but apparently they're getting big. Yes, exactly. But their objectives. Well, I think their objectives, all this stuff is like, you see these pockets, these disparate pockets of things going on the internet. And these guys also, the Remilio people, they're like groypers, right? They have all their avatars are the same. It's like a war on the internet for them. It's like a meme war, right? It is like literally the meme war on the internet is still raging on. And you have all these disparate pockets of people who lend to them, might not outright support them, or might not outright say they support them, but they're lending to them. They're providing backing, they're providing cover, they're sweeping for them, whatever. They're going to their parties behind the scenes. And it's like, I'm trying to see the whole picture here and what's going on. But I feel like it's going to culminate, and maybe it's just the 2020 election, maybe it's political power, but I feel like it's more than that. I feel like it's cultural power, right? It's cultural power, and it's propaganda, and it's changing the minds of people. Like I said with Clavicular, just putting that guy out there as somebody who's like, he's softening the blow of transhumanism and taking steroids and injecting yourself and physically altering your appearance to that degree. And he's just pushing the bounds of this thing. And I feel like that's for a purpose, right? This is the schizo talking, is I feel like that's for a purpose, to inch us towards this type of a future. And it's all kind of boiling in the background, and it's not until it actually takes hold of society that a lot of the normies will actually see it in front of them and go, whoa. And then they're already like accepting it because it's just what it is. I kind of stopped visiting Twitter in 2025. Surprised it's still alive. Yeah, I should get off of it too, frankly, but hey.
What it is, but it's very weird. He gets sprung from jail, charges.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick. Similarly with how meme magic kind of proliferated the neo-reactionary movement, and with the Groypers and with Nick Fuentes and all these, like, they're again a separate network, a separate entity. They all kind of pooled together to get Trump elected. We're seeing, I think, that emerging, or has already emerged, with JD Vance, because you have like the BAP sphere, Passage Press, and all this, a captive dreamer type people. And then now I think the Remilio people are also connected to that. And I think they're also pushing for the transhumanist technocratic future. So, and if Nick is going to be against that, I'm for it. I'm down with it. I think that's the right move. I don't think I want JD Vance. I don't think I want anything to do with that technocratic NWO control. Fuck that, dude.
Dropped. He was facing 8 years in prison. All of a sudden, no legal problems. And just as quickly, he's on a jet to New York for this party. And he's in the New York Fashion Show, and then he's going to this after party. And the after party is hosted by Remilio Corporation, which created this NFT called Milady. Now, you don't need to know all the details. All you need to know is it's a Thiel adjacent project. It is a Peter Thiel adjacent project. You have this scene in New York City, and they're all pretending to be fashion people and artists and filmmakers and things like that. But really, it's all heavily subsidized by Peter Thiel and his cronies. And they're all pro-Vance, and they were all pro-Trump, and they're all pretending to be artists. And this is supposed to be kind of like a cultural offensive. They're like supposed to be the cultural vanguard of the Peter Thiel political project. Heavy overlap with cryptocurrency and Ethereum, overlap with Curtis Yarvin's operating system, overlap with all those different projects that are going on, Sovereign House and Passover Press and all this kind of stuff. And anyway, they all hang out. And this is where Clavicular is going. He's going into the belly of
he
the
fits
beast
right
into
in
this
that
Peter
group.
Thiel art collective wannabe tech scene in New York, and he's popping up there, and it's very random, and everybody's kind of wondering, what is he doing there? And is this in any way connected to his invitation to the Peter Thiel party, or the fact that he was just sprung from jail? Because he gets sprung from jail, and now he's at this party, and these guys are not particularly famous. They got a little bit of money, a little bit of zorts, so maybe they got paid, you know, who knows? But the timing was a little weird. So he pops up at the party, and I saw all these people tweeting about it. They were saying, oh my gosh, Clavicular's going to our party. Clavicular's going to be at the Milady rave. We're so back. They said a year ago, Milady had no cultural relevance, total L, you know, just no motion at all. They said, wow, we turned it all around. We're winning. Clavicular's going to be at our party. And I was just watching the stream. He pulls up to the party. He's there for 30 seconds. Everybody there is a total freak. It's like a freak show. Rizless chuds coming up, trying to shill their NFT. The manager comes up and tries to kick him out. She gets fucking mogged. She gets literally mogged to death. She falls apart into a million pieces. They tell him he can't film. He turns around and leaves after 10 minutes. And I know a lot of people don't really know what that is, and maybe they don't really know the significance, but for the people that do know, so delicious. Actually delicious. And this is just a little piece of advice, okay? This is a little reminder to everybody in Dime Square. This is a little reminder. Here's a little piece of advice for everybody in that scene. You are not cool. You are fucking lame. Your entire scene is lame. You suck, and you are nothing. And you will never, ever compare to the Groypers. You will never have the same or even remotely close to the same level of cultural relevance and motion and effortless authenticity and aura as the Groypers, because you are nothing, because you are fake, you are Jewish, you are propped up by fucking weird defense tech money. Fuck you and your party that I wasn't even invited to. You just got mogged to death. You just got frame mogged. So I saw that. I was like, dude, me magic. As always, nigga, as always. So good. Because I saw that and I was like, wow, he's pulling up to the party. I was like, this sucks. I was like, now all these shit-eating Dime Square posers are going to get to act like big shots for a night. Oh, Clavicular came to our party. Oh, we're cool or whatever. Guys, it's so Jewish, it's not even funny. Like, if you knew, I mean, I would spend time explaining it, but it's niche, and I don't really feel like it, but just trust me when I tell you, it's so Jewish. I'll give you an example. Last year, when Trump was inaugurated, when this big Jewish shit show began, at Trump's inauguration, Milady, the same group, hosted an after party for the inauguration. And what did they call it? I think they called it like the Golden Age Ball, or I don't know, something really gay. And they had this like big party in DC, and all these people were there. And dude, there were like a dozen people in kippahs at that party. There was like some Mossad chief. There were rabbis. Laura Loomer was there. It is the most Jewish shit you have ever seen in your life. And they all think they're so cool. And it's like, you're not cool. You're fucking Jewish. And anyway, so I was kind of like, I saw he was going to be at the party. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, but no. Wang halves are undefeated. They just got mogged. So anyway, so I was enjoying that. I don't know if you saw the stream, but it was great. I don't even know if he knows who those people are, but he didn't even need to, because he showed up, he felt the vibes were off, and he left. And that's who you are. You know, that I just want all of them to know that's who you are. Clavicular shows up to your party. You know, you guys think you're cool on the internet. You're not. You're just paid money. It's a sinecure. An actual cool, normal young person shows up to your party and is disgusted. An actual cool, normal person shows up to your party. He is there for 5 seconds and he is disgusted. He sees exactly what you are. It took him all of 10 seconds to see exactly what you are. He saw right through you and he left. And that is going in the GQ article. It is going in the GQ article. And yeah, so we're enjoying that. So
So now it's like when he's talking like this, it seems like there's actually, this is jockeying, right? It's like, okay, you have this Peter Thiel backed. This is provided that if Nick isn't backed by Peter Thiel or any of his adjacent, any of that, right? If he's not backed by any of that, it seems like there's jockeying for this guy who's rising the ranks of streamer fame. And it's like, which side are you going to be on? This is why Nick is hanging out with him. This is why his group is hanging out. All these streamers are hanging out with him because they're trying to get him on their side. And Peter's trying to get him on his side and say, who are you gonna shill for? Which side are you going to be on? And maybe this, like I said, it's all gearing towards the 2028 election. If Steve Bannon comes out to run against JD Vance, who has the more cultural mimetic cachet? I think this is part of that, building into that. If Clavicular comes out and, he's jumping on the side of the Wang halves, he might go, I'm going to be on Steve Bannon's side. But they wanted him. The Remilio Milady freaks. They wanted him on their side because we're for JD Vance. We're for the Jewish transhumanist technocracy. Kind of an extension of the Founder Fund Collective. Yeah, we have a tweet here. I think I still have it up here. Basilian Thought, who I believe is part of his sphere, another person I'm trying to map, part of the Wang half Nick Fuentes sphere, kind of dissects a little bit of that Founders Fund, Peter Thiel money. Low key, I kind of like how Clav is opening awareness for autistic types, how looks matter socially, and how there are things one can do to ascend. It's almost a charity for wonky, ugly outcast types. Again, preying on the loser, ugly incels, infiltrating the gym culture. So this is Clav pulling up to the party. This guy comes up, creepy ass dude. He reminds you of something out of freaking David Lynch. Comes up and starts telling him and explaining to him about the NFTs in Remilia.
Yeah, so Remilia, you don't know Remilia, right? You didn't know it? Yeah, so Remilia, you don't know Remilia, right? You didn't know it?
No,
So
I'm not from here.
They created a bunch of NFTs that did really well, and they created a cult token on Ethereum.
Cult
and did really well.
token?
They're now in an art collective. So they launched this line with Elena. So this is one of our NFTs that became super popular. It's a Milady.
Okay.
They asked, will you use this when he streams?
Well,
will you show this when you stream? I don't want to put you in a weird. Whatever you decide, I don't care.
It's just that's a tough
don't
one.
know what it is.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I'm just gonna defer you to Mitchell on that one.
yeah.
I just don't want to do something. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Bro, I don't know what the fuck. Yo, chat, what the fuck? All right, bro.
He's like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
So Remilia.
Caught in between. This guy just straight up comes up. Hey, welcoming committee. Hey, you want to hold this weird little doll when you stream? Do I want to hold this doll when I stream? How about I shove it up your ass? How about that? You're tarnishing my, can you step away from me, please? Can you step back, please? I don't want to be seen on camera with you. You're old and you smell bad. And no, I will not hold your weird, freaky voodoo doll. Fuck that. Well, good on that, because I think this shit is whack. If the transhumanist technocrat agenda, that shit, man, get away from that shit. But the thing is like his image, he fits right into that. So it's like, man, I don't even know. They're like techno progressive culture. This group, they're not conservative, right? They're like transgender weird art hoes and doing drugs, and they're all zooted out of their mind. They're very Jewish. He's right. They're very Jewish. Just the flavor of it, you can just taste it. You can just taste the bagels. Now I want him a lady. Hey, it might not be a. Even if you don't buy into it, maybe it's a decent investment. I don't really know. That was the same thing I thought with Palantir. Whenever Trump first got elected, or before he got elected, I thought I should go put like $1,000 on Palantir stock. But I was like, I don't know. Yeah, and then these people just post this shit. Like, these people are fucking whack, dude. This wasn't a party, it was a Peter Thiel freak off, yeah. Like these people are basically they're just like they're just right-wing progressives, right? If you don't like the left-wing progressives, if you're more of a conservative type person, conservative-minded person, these right-wing progressives are arguably even more insufferable. Because they're trying to placate to you. They're trying to placate to the Christian conservative crowd. Like Peter Thiel does. Oh yes, I'm a Christian. With my gay husband, I am a Christian. Because like honestly, that's even more disgusting because then they're taking Christian sensibilities and Christian morality and all these things and they're twisting it and contorting it and making it Kabbalistic and Jewish. And it's just it's even more disgusting than if you were just outright atheistic heathen. I prefer that. I prefer that flavor of progressivism than this shit. Because it's cloaked. It's cloaked in, well, we all have the cross on and we go to church and we believe in, well, nothing really, but they go out and they sell you this crap and they tell you, they go and cherry pick Bible verses to basically give excuses for why they're acting the way they do. Iconoclasts run amok. Yeah, literally. It's got to go, man. These people have got to go. But the thing is, it's like when I said that, if I don't trust Bannon either, and I haven't done that much research on him, but like the connections to Epstein are just fucking weird. And then the post we saw earlier about preying on incels, preying on kind of the losers of society is gross. And then, you know, the flooding the zone with shit article we talked about and how much he helped the Trump presidency in 2016. It's like, this shit is just, I don't know, man. I'm getting up to that where it's just like, I don't know if I agree with that either. So he went to this rave, right? So he goes to this rave and, you know, Nick was like, oh, he was there for 30 seconds. It's like, I think he was there for a little bit longer because then he ended up getting pictures with the people there too. And then he gets into a fight with somebody there. And ultimately it's like, okay. Then you get this guy. These are the people. These are the people at this rave. These are the type of people. Yeah, dude, that guy had some weird energy to him. But it's like, okay, he was a little more than just 30 seconds, Nick. Okay. I know he's got a sweep for this dude. I know he's trying to win him over. I understand that. There's kind of this jockeying here that seems to be happening, but it's like, let's be honest. He was in it. He was in there. An elderly man introduces an insecure 19-year-old kick streamer to a washed Indian midget fed who pretends to be an Aryan leader. So apparently he met Charlotte Fang, or the creator of the Milady Remilio thing. I'm trying to remember his actual name. Some Indian guy. Yeah, and everybody's just so fucking ironic and sarcastic all the time, bro. You were just not even a real person. It's so crazy. Who is it? What's his real name? It's like Oshkosh Bagosh or some shit. What the fuck is his real name? This is something I'm going to have to dig more into. For sure. I don't know. Essentially, it's the creator of this NFT project. He meets with them. So it's... he comes in there and he meets with the creator of this NFT. So again, a little more than just 30 seconds and he leaves.
Yeah. So Remilio, you don't know Remilio, right?
Okay, amazing. Nice to meet you. All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Everything was great. Fantastic. You guys were awesome.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon. All right. Hell yeah, man.
Have you met Charlie yet?
Charlie, no.
He's the founder of Remilia. And
Sorry, what is
Remilia?
what is that?
Milady.
What is
What is that? It's some stupid internet crap.
Oh, this is Ramelia.
I'm not. He's the founder.
Okay.
So this is Charlie,
Hi,
Clavicular.
Nice to meet you. Class. How's it going, man? So yeah, this is an amazing bar, man. You know. Okay, amazing. Nice to meet you. All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Totally just like irrelevant. This is them on X. And this is the stupid little fucking profile pic that all these people run. Everybody has like God superiority complexes, man. Everybody thinks they're so fucking smart all the time. Like it's so honestly, these people are so insufferable. It's unreal. Clavicular in 10 years, yeah.
What are you guys into? What do you do?
We're tech.
Every day.
That's all going away.
This becomes more and more relevant. Every day.
Currency, everything. We're gonna flip into a new society.
What do you do?
I'm outside of space and time.
What are you guys into?
This is literally what these people are like. It's crazy. I think watching these motions is like watching the signs of the times, like watching spirits, yeah. This stuff is so inconsequential, like in a post-ironic Plato's allegory way. Yeah, literally. Stop trying to make Jester work. It's not going to work, okay? You're trying to force this shit. Did I have this? I wanted to... You were talking about... No, what's the guy's name? Who's the fucking Adam Friedland? I was gonna say, who's the Jewish guy from Cumtown? Friendland, whoops. He had a post about Clavicular. I just want to see if did I save it in my bookmarks? But apparently he's going on Adam Friedland's show here soon. And he had this all mapped out that related back to a sponsor of Adam Friedland's show, back to Founders Fund. And I thought that was interesting. Interesting connection, another interesting network piece. But I'm trying to find it. I wonder if I saved it in the bookmarks. Oh shit, did I not save this? This would have been important at some point. This would have been important when I did my big political networks stream at some point in the future. Did I really not save this? I'm fucking retarded, dude. I wanted that. Well, I'm sorry. Bear with me. I don't know. I was looking for this. Pigeon Post, you would find this interesting. But I can't seem to find it right now. I'll have to look maybe later. He kind of had all these screenshots kind of detailing the connection between this advertisement that Adam Friedland had on a show, and then it went to, he kind of connected at one point to Jared Kushner, Joshua Kushner, his brother or whatever. No, okay. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to look for it. Stab leaving Cumtown, save Friedman's career. Yeah. Look up Clav meets Jaw. I might have seen it yesterday. You're talking about bone smashing? Jaw mogged? Oh, are you talking about that lady who had the fucking prosthetic on during the New York Times fashion show thing? That shit, again, that's transgender and transhuman. And then freaking Brett Cooper was there. Oh, man, these people are fucking weird, dude. Yeah, that video, right? It's like Clav in 10 years, right? That's literally what that lady looked like, that guy. Yeah, she put on this whole prosthetic thing to be the Jija Chad. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of gross. It's kind of gross. It's giving prideful. It's giving Lucifer a bit. It's giving Kabbalah a bit. Look at my TL's just fucking Clav shit, dude. I understand I'm looking them up, but it's like, dude, the degree to which this shit, it's crazy. I don't know. It was a quote tweet too, which was annoying because I think that's harder to find. I don't know. All right, we're going to move on. It doesn't matter. But all this to say, it's just very interesting to watch this guy being pushed out there, I think a form of culture creation, aiding in, okay, put him in the limelight. Then we're going to we're basically jockeying for this guy, whether or not he was organically rose or not. The jockeying is inorganic. And I think that there is something going on. Something going on behind the scenes. He might not have been paid off during his rise, but I wonder if there's sometimes I think with these algorithms and these people, they watch these people and they might tweak the algorithm to push them, to give them fame. I wonder how much that is algorithm, adjusting the algorithm to push people towards, and then suppressing other people. The censorship years ago was super outright and super obvious, but now it's like, I wonder if it's not so much censorship. It's just like, we're going to just push you down in the algorithm. We're going to push these people to the front of the algorithm. And then maybe once they reach a certain point of fame, then they're like, now we're going to try and get you on our team. I don't know. I think he's going to die. They're building him up for some grand finale. Yeah. Oh, interesting. What if he dies and then they put a fake heart in him? Ooh. What if they rebuild him? And he's the robot. He is the poster child for the android future. I don't know. Okay, well, we're on our last segment. We're going to talk about the Nancy Guthrie thing a bit because I'm interested in this and I like to see where this is going. And there's new shit coming out every minute and it's kind of weird. But it's 9:00, so give me 1 minute though. I'm going to take a quick second. That's the Clav segment. I don't know. What do you guys think about Clav? I mean, am I off? Do you think he's being pushed to the top? Do you think he's being propped up there? I think he's absolutely, it feels that way that he's being propped up there. Similarly with how Nick's generational run pushed him to the top. The algorithms fed him to the top of the, they're proliferating all his clips and all of his media. And that felt very weird to me. That's the thing with the algorithm is that you can't actually, it's not like you can actually prove it and say, I can prove that they're being, but it's just like a feeling. It's just like, okay, I feel as though this person's being promoted in a way. And like Nick getting the New York Times article, Clav has a New York Times article now too. What was it? Looks at any cost or looking good at any cost, something like that. 10 hours ago. No, handsome at any cost. I'm not freaking signing in, you bum ass freaking rag of a newspaper. He's going to die and they're going to go see Don't Try to Looks Max. What would be the point of that? Or who's going to say that? I don't think that I think they like looks maxing, actually. I think the transhumanists like that. They want to, I think that they're, like I said, the similarities on the left and the right, it's like, I think they're trying to push past the political divide, basically get rid of conservatism at all, any of that shit. We don't care. They're trying to push into a new, I think, like synthesis between the two. That is future. That is the future. It's futurism. And one of those things is altering your body with technology. I don't know. All right, but I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'm gonna get some more beverage, and we'll get into the Nancy Guthrie thing, and then I'll probably wrap our stream. I don't have a whole lot on that because a lot of it's already happened, and people probably already know what we're up to. So we're gonna kind of gloss over what's been happening, and then we're gonna get into kind of more of the updated stuff. They don't want anyone ascending without their say-so. Like chopping down the, what is that? What is this? What is the saying? The tall poppy gets cut or whatever. Is that the saying? What's the saying? The poppy seed, the poppy plant saying. I don't know. I don't know what's going. See, this is the thing is I'm trying to piece it together of what I know based on these little tidbits here and there of things happening. I don't think I'm completely off on a lot of this stuff. I don't think I'm like way out there. I think some of it's right, but some of it obviously needs to be tall poppy syndrome. Yeah. Some of it needs to be refined more, and I need to do more research on some of this stuff. I mean, the Remilio thing, again, new thing that I'm like, okay, I didn't even know this was as big of a thing as it was. I thought it was just a stupid thing online. Didn't realize it was like a cult with a cult following that was propped up by Peter Thiel. Okay, didn't know that. Makes sense though. And then the Steve Bannon thing's another one that I want to research more. But yeah, give me 1 second. That's going to be the clav portion, and we'll be right back. So don't nobody go nowhere, and don't you dare touch that dial. We're back. 9:15. Like the stream. Subscribe. Follow me on X. They don't want anyone ascending without their say-so. No looks, no fame. No looks, wealth, fame, nothing. Why don't they want that? Why don't they want people to have that? Because it's harder to control, right? When you get to that. Back to the poor versus rich debate. We want to keep you low. We want to keep you down. Keep you in a state of negativity, darkness, loserdom. All right, let's get into this Nancy Guthrie thing. I don't know how much of you guys have been following this. I thought it was going to be nothing. I thought it was just a blip on the radar, and then it's been 2 weeks now, and this is still going on. So essentially, from what I've seen on this, on January 31st, Nancy Guthrie, which is the mother to Savannah Guthrie, the talk show host, right? Famous person, she basically was out at having dinner with Annie Guthrie, which is Savannah Guthrie's sister. They had a family dinner. Everything was lovely and cordial. They dropped her off at her house. And at some point, and we're going to see right here, is that there's a video ring camera footage. Video ring camera footage was triggered. And around 2 a.m, Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. And there's been ransom notes. There's been multiple, and TMZ's actually been covering it because they're sending them to TMZ, the ransom notes or whatnot, which is funny. But we're going to take a look at some of the stuff. And we have like a little timeline here of what happened. This should be right here. So this is a timeline of what happened. So 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to local family's home. That's Annie Guthrie, Savannah's sister. The family drops Nancy off at home, and the garage door opens. Then their garage door closes 2 minutes later. Okay, that's normal. You know, she goes inside, and they have that data. But then at 1:47 a.m., so like 4 hours later, the doorbell camera disconnects. Now, apparently, she didn't have a subscription to Nest, her doorbell camera, right? She didn't have a subscription to that, so apparently they didn't have the data. They didn't have any recordings that were sent anywhere. But apparently there was ghost data that they were able to extract from Google, which is the parent company of Nest, and they did get some footage that we're going to take a look at. So the software detects a person on camera. This is interesting because it's like, okay, so 147, a doorbell camera disconnects. And then what is like a half an hour later, the software detects a person on camera. That's weird. You think this would have happened like right one after another, or at one before the other. I almost feel like you would detect the person on the camera and then the doorbell camera would disconnect because obviously the person's noticed and they take the camera off or whatever. So it's weird how that is switched around. And then at 2:28, so literally 16 minutes later, the pacemaker app that Nancy Guthrie had disconnected from the phone. So did she die, or did they just, maybe they took her away from the phone? That's we don't really know. And the family checks on Nancy. No, I guess if she died, the pacemaker app would go off and show that she had her heart stopped, right? So maybe, I guess they disconnected her from the phone somehow. The family then checks on Nancy in the morning at 11 a.m. They call 911 and the patrol arrives. So apparently she had church in the morning, some church service, virtual church service that she was supposed to go to. Didn't end up going, and people they got worried. So the footage that the FBI released, that the ghost video that they extracted from Google, this is what they show. What is he doing? Like, you're already on camera, dude. He putting a plant up to the camera to block it. So, I mean, clearly he didn't expect for them to have a Ring doorbell. Otherwise, he would have probably brought something a little better than ripping plant out of the ground and shoving it up there. And he, like, look at this. He walks really weird. Look at how he walks. Why is he hunched over like that? Like, is he just looking at something on the ground trying to find something? Like a hunchback. Like a zombie. Like he's on Fetty. That's what he looks like. I don't even understand. I don't even understand why he did this. Why didn't he just rip the camera off? Why is it like, no, we're going to rip out this plant and put it in front of the camera? Why not just rip the whole thing off? Or just, I guess maybe it would alert her inside. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But doesn't it alert you anyways if there's somebody outside? So you're already seen, dude. New footage this late in the investigation could be the break needed. FBI releasing it publicly means they're stuck and need help identifying something. Hopefully someone recognizes what is shown. I also heard that the FBI and the local sheriff's department are feuding and they're beefing and they're not getting along, which is not good. Yeah, so okay, so he's got facial hair. He's got a goatee. For sure. Well, this is just weird, man. This is spooky as shit. Isn't this weird? Like, didn't this happen a few months ago or like last year with them in Minnesota? Remember that guy who had the weird mask on, the old person's mask, and went to that politician's house? I think me and Dick covered that when he was on. It was like very strange, and it's like, I feel like I've never, in my whole life, I've never really seen anything like this. And then within basically a year, 2 times, things like this, or home invasions are happening to this degree to high level people. It's like very weird. The FBI can't find anyone except by releasing footage to the public and hoping we find them. Right. Get 4chan on it. They'll figure it out in 10 minutes. So essentially then what happened was she was kidnapped, and then 2 days later they gave an ultimatum and a ransom that they wanted 4 Bitcoin, I think is what it was. And then they said if that had not been paid, we want 6 Bitcoin or 6 more Bitcoin or whatever. So they're basically asking for a Bitcoin as a ransom, which is interesting. But then you've had other people who have been calling in. One other guy gave a note to TMZ and he said, look, I know who this is. If you give me 1 Bitcoin, I'll tell you who it is. I hope to get FBI wages right. They better be paying me for this shit. So we got TMZ here, and he said that they just released, this was 10 hours ago. There was new footage that they found. This is another thing, too, that's really weird to me. Because to me, I feel like if I were to commit a crime, they'd pick me up in about 10 minutes. And it's not because I didn't cover my tracks. It's not because I'm not being careful. It's the fact that we live in such a connected technological world that some camera somewhere would pick me up. And they'd go, oh, that's who it is. Oh, this tall white guy. Okay, we got him. But like the fact that it's like, okay, we had to get this ghost data from Google and this is what we have, which is a lot. But then there's no other cameras of him walking away or fleeing or anything. There's no car. They still don't have the car. How did they get the woman out of there? Where did she go? They had to carry this lady out, right? Which is they also suspect that maybe there's a second person involved. So there's a lot of stuff that they do not know. But today they just posted this video footage of another Ring and doorbell. So let's take a look at it.
Couple of new things. There is a new video on Ring's Neighbors app, which is really interesting to authorities in this investigation. We spoke with a high-up official in this investigation who said They are, and this is a quote, absolutely looking at this video. It shows a man skulking around the front porch of a
Yes.
house.
Yes, that is skulking.
8 days before the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. It is 6.5 miles away from Nancy's home. Interestingly, this man, we blurred his face, but he has a goatee and a mustache. And if you look at the video on Nancy Guthrie's porch, the man seen there appears to have the same. So again, we don't know if the two are connected, but the authorities are, as was put to us, absolutely looking at this video. Couple of other things. One is, we have been told by multiple sources connected to this investigation that they have been frustrated over not being able to identify a vehicle tied to the person at Nancy Guthrie's front porch. They have looked everywhere, and it's one of the reasons they are putting out this APB, if you will, asking people in that area if they've seen anything over the month before Nancy was kidnapped. But the vehicle is going to be key, and the wider net they cast, the more likely it is that they're going to get a lead. So it's something that they really want. Now, finally, I want to talk about these ransom notes. We have received one. There are two of them. And it is now going on 2 weeks since Nancy's kidnapping. The note we received demands $6 million. And I can tell you, we check this Bitcoin account regularly, and the money is not there. $6 million, not there. And it's been 2 weeks. Savannah had said they were going to present the money through the Bitcoin account. It has not yet happened. I will tell you this. I know, and when I say I know, I am positive that authorities, including the FBI, are vitally interested in that ransom note. I know this to be true. And I can't say the specifics because I promised I wouldn't, but I can tell you they are absolutely still vitally interested in this ransom note. So it doesn't seem like they've been able to connect the dots. And again, we have received 2 emails from somebody who says he knows who the kidnapper is, but he wants a Bitcoin because he says he needs the money because he's going to have to lay low for a while and because he fears retaliation. And he said he also just doesn't want to be called a rat. So that money has not been deposited either. That's $67,000, which is the value of a Bitcoin right now. But that money hasn't been deposited either. I cannot tell you that that person actually knows who the kidnapper is because we don't know who that person is. And my understanding, and I have a pretty good understanding, the authorities don't know either. But I will tell you, they are still really interested in
really interested. I think they're interested, guys. I think the FBI is interested in that ransom note. So they wanted the Bitcoin, and then Savannah Guthrie and her family went online and said, we'll pay for whatever. But then he's saying that they never paid the Bitcoin to the person. It's kind of weird. I mean, I thought if they said we'll pay whatever, we'll do whatever, but they didn't do it. What do they don't have Coinbase? They can't figure that out, or what's going on there? You know, what the fuck's going on? It's just weird. I mean, and then some people speculate maybe there's inside involvement potentially. I don't know. Allegedly, it's what some people have said online. Maybe there could be. They've been questioning everybody. They've been questioning her sister and her family and the neighbors, the house she was having dinner at. They ended up pulling over this delivery driver But he basically was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Apparently he was like an hour south doing DoorDash and they just picked him up. And he said, maybe I've delivered to her before. So, but they eventually let him go. So it seems like these people don't know what the fuck is going on. Why are you blurring out a trespasser's creeper if it's legit ring cam footage? Best way to catch a criminal is to blur his face. Right. Well, we actually have the ring cam footage right here. You can go find it on ring.com. This is a guy they said was skulking around 6 miles though away. This is 6 miles away. Like, what is that? Well, the fact of the matter is, if this guy was doing this days before, he was skulking around and he saw a camera, don't you think he would be a little more prepared the day of? Don't you think he would think, okay, what if they have a camera like the other people did? I need to get tape or you know, spray paint or something or a sticker. No, he comes in, he doesn't know what the hell, and he ends up putting a plant in front of it. What is he doing? Tattoos? Gang affiliated, maybe? So this guy... What do we think? Maybe, honestly. He's got the same little goatee there. This could be him. I would, yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely track that guy down. Somebody also said maybe this could be gang related. They're down there near the border. I don't know. Maybe this person picked them up, bring them down to the gangs. I don't even know, to the cartels. Trying to get paid from it. I don't really know, but it's interesting. Forensic artist is 4 hours ago. Forensic artist released sketch of suspect to help find Nancy Guthrie.
What does he look like without the mask? That's the burning question as investigators search for the suspect in the Nancy Guthrie investigators.
Wait, let's see. This is close up now. Okay, I think that might be him, dude. Like, look at his mouth. That looks pretty. He's got a beard and everything. Bro should have shaved before he did this.
Investigators search for the suspect in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. Now the nation's best-known forensic sketch artist is using her skill and experience to create this sketch of the suspect.
Like 90%, that's him. Right, that's what I'm thinking. Looks good to me. Pick him up.
Of the suspect. Lois Gibson achieved national fame for her 4 decades of work with the Houston Police Department. She says she came out of retirement to create this sketch because, like the rest of America, she wants to bring Savannah Guthrie's mother home. What did you see when you looked at video of that suspect?
The bottom edge of his nose, and then that thick mustache, and then that hair below the bottom lip. He's young. He's below 40s, I believe. And other than that, he could be Latino, white, Lebanese, just any kind of race.
We want to make it clear
Any
this is
kind of
not
race?
an official FBI sketch, and Gibson acknowledges her sketch may not be totally accurate.
The guy might have tattoos all over his face. I might have the facial hair wrong, but I had to try, and I'll take the hit if I'm wrong.
All right, lady.
How many criminals have you
Okay.
helped catch?
All right.
I've helped solve more than 1,313 cases.
She's in the Guinness Book of World Records for most criminals positively identified due to the composites of one artist. Ironically,
Wow.
last year, Lois Gibson was featured on the Today Show, the morning show co-anchored by Savannah Guthrie.
She's made a difference in a lot of lives.
You are the first to admit that your sketch may not be completely accurate.
I'm willing to be brave and take a chance and make a mistake.
Wow, good for you. Okay. I think this is the dude, man. I think that's him. I think he was scoping out the joint. The weird thing is like the car. They said they never got a car. It looks like from all this, there doesn't seem to be any activation from the front door, from the doorbell. Even though it said after it was disconnected, it detected a person on camera. Would it not detect another person in camera if he took her out the front door? So did he take her out the garage door? Well, the garage door didn't go off either. So maybe, I don't know. But then it's like, again, where's the car? How did they get her out of there? Interesting stuff. So then this was 5 hours ago. 5 hours ago, TMZ, breaking news, TMZ received a third Nancy Guthrie note. Sir, a third Nancy Guthrie note has hit the tower.
TMZ has obtained a third email from the man who claims he knows the identity and the location of Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper, and he has now upped his demand. We know it is the same person who wrote the other two notes because the Bitcoin address is identical. So he says that he is going through TMZ because he does not trust law enforcement. He's essentially saying, you don't trust me and I don't trust you. What he is suggesting
TMZ, though?
is by the FBI upping the reward to $100,000, it was designed to discredit him. He says, quote, to discredit me. So what he is saying is he now wants the following. He wants one fraction of a Bitcoin worth $50,000. And for that, he says he will give up the name and location of the kidnapper. He says he will not cash that until the kidnapper is actually arrested, and then he expects the second Bitcoin fraction, another 50,000. So he wants the $100,000 reward, he says, but he wants it in this form and not simply coming forward to authorities. He has a variety of reasons on why he doesn't want to come forward to authorities, one of which is interesting. He says it's because that it could compromise his possible freedom. Now, we don't know what that means. Does that mean that he is peripherally associated with this kidnapper? He does not explain what that means, but he says it in this email. Now, there's something really important here, that he says that when he gets the initial payment, and this is a quote, he will give up, quote, the name of the main individual. The main individual.
So there's multiple.
So clearly, he is suggesting, and he did insinuate this before, but he is saying it squarely here. The main individual, that means if this is legit, he has accomplices. So he does refer to the current state of Nancy Guthrie. We are not going to get into what that is. We have forwarded this on to the FBI. They asked for it, and we gave it to them. We received this email just before noon Pacific time, Friday, today. So again, the third email, he says this time, this is it, that it's his final time to approach anybody. The third time is it. Now remember, he said that last time too, but he says he's coming forward now because of the increase in the ransom reward. And we will see. The authorities are looking at this, I guess, to determine if it's legitimate. We have checked this Bitcoin address, and so far, no deposit has been made.
Okay, so they're just like, okay, go ahead, kill her. Why don't you just deposit the Bitcoin? Nancy Guthrie, what is it? What do you say was $50,000, $100,000 worth of Bitcoin? I feel like even for, law enforcement, that's nothing. For Nancy Guthrie, that's like, she's rich as shit. It's weird. I'm surprised they didn't pay the first time. What's going on there? Also, this lady apparently is on a lot of medication too, that she takes daily. So they're like freaking out that she hasn't had her medication in almost 2 weeks. She might already be dead. She might already be dead. Let's hope not. Look, that's grim. That's dark, but this is a weird one, man. We haven't seen anything. Send me a bit. Have we seen anything like this, chat? Have we seen anything like this before? Send me a Bitcoin and I'll give you your Nana back. I think she's unfortunately dead. Yeah, I think so too. They also, man, it just seems like law enforcement is just, I saw they also found a glove in the house like a day or two ago. It's like, dude, it's been 2 weeks, it's been like 10 days, and you found a glove in the house. I feel like, how did you not find that within 10 minutes of walking through and doing an inspection? What? I don't know, man. I think a lot of this seems like it's a failure on law enforcement's part. It was a blunder. I'm sure it's happened before. I mean, I know like ransoms and shit obviously have happened, but like for Bitcoin, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's probably happened maybe lower level stuff that I haven't heard of, but this is just interesting. It's such a high profile person and they're just asking for, they're not even asking for that much. That's another thing too. They're not even asking for that much. It's not like they're asking for like 50 Bitcoin. They're asking for one half of a Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, 2 halves of a Bitcoin. It's like, okay, I think I would just like pay that and move on if I was her. TMZ are hostage negotiators now. Hey, don't knock TMZ. TMZ honestly gets a lot of shit, but in recent memory, for me in particular, they've been pretty good on their accuracy. That much for Nancy. How much would you pay for your old Nana? Pigeon Post, how much would you pay for your old Nunu? I'd give one whole chain link. I'd give one whole chain link for my Nana. Chain link price $8. I'd give 2 whole chain link to save my Nana. That's fair. That's fair. That's weird. Okay, we'll see how this goes. How do you guys think this is going to end up? Do you think she's dead? They're alive right now.
Eric Wilson. Welcome back, Eric. Thank you. 3 in a row. We are here 3 in a row for the final day of the week with this TMZ podcast in the afternoon. What a week it's been. Again, if you're new to this in the afternoon, this is the TMZ podcast, basically part 2. Yeah. In the morning, we catch you up on the breaking news stories, and then in the afternoon around 2:30.
Oh, this is over. Okay. I think if they pay him $50K, he'll email back and say thanks for the cheese and disappear forever. See, he says he doesn't want to be a rat, but you know what? He's been a rat all along. He's been a rat the whole time. He just wants the cheese. Is TMZ still bringing the bullshit? They are. They're milking the fuck out of this dude. Let's look at their channel real quick. Sir, a third Nancy Guthrie note has hit the towers. Nancy Guthrie. Bombshell development, Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie. Nancy Guthrie. And it doesn't help that they're only giving notes to TMZ, so they're really stroking their ego. This is it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're eating this up, bro. They're eating this content up. IRL rug pull. The IRL rug pull. Oh man, who could expect it? Trump did it and nobody expected it. All right, I think that's going to be it. I think that's going to be it for the stream. We could go over the Roger Avery thing. But I think I'm good. I think I'm good on this for tonight. I think I'm winding down. FBI are clowns. All they do is walk around knocking on doors, collecting surveillance footage, and then when they have a person of interest, release the image to the public. They say, you guys do it. It's like crowdfunding. You guys tell us, what do you guys see? What do your LFIs see? I don't know. This is just weird though, and I feel like I had to like look at some of it, cover some of it. Because from what I was watching on it, it's like, man, the mishandling by, it seems like, by local and the FBI. It just seems like there's like blunder after blunder with, it's just like, what's going on with them? They're fighting, they're missing evidence, and then just the length of time it's taken. The fact that she's saying she's going to pay for it, but then she never deposits the Bitcoin. TMZ somehow involved in all this. What a fever dream of an event. Let's look at Nancy, or yeah, let's look at this real quick. Do we have the video that she posted?
Good evening. I'm Corey Coffin. To us. Let's listen in.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Now, police have been looking for Nancy Guthrie for more than a week now. She was last seen last...
Why didn't they pay the Bitcoin then, the first time? I don't think she's with us anymore. They're not addressing her directly anymore. We understand, meaning we understand that she's passed. We will pay. Restating this to let them know they will still pay despite her being deceased. Celebrate as in celebrate her life. They want peace. What else does one say? What else does one say this besides someone pass? This is very important to us, having her with them. Yeah, doesn't they say like 48 hours is like it? Don't they usually say that? Like that's the case. It's like when the missing person's like any time after 48 hours is basically like a cold case and there's like no way to... Is that a thing or am I making that up? The first 48 to 72 hours the most critical for finding a missing person. After 48 hours, risks to the individual increase, especially if they require medication or exposed to the elements. Yeah. I also thought it was just like, it's like pretty much impossible to figure it out after. Initial hours are crucial for tracking suspects, finding witnesses, and utilizing fresh scents for search teams. After 48 to 72 hours, leads generally decrease and the focus may shift from rescue to recovery. Yeah, man, this has been 2 weeks. The probability of finding a person alive drops significantly. And with that medication, man, she's taking, I think she's done. I honestly, this is probably the bleakest outcome, is that she's dead and these people just disappear and they never talk again. Like, wow, what an L. Nobody got what they wanted. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep updated on it. We'll keep up to date on it. Just an interesting little news event. All right, I think that's going to be it. It's about 10 o'clock. We've been going over 3 hours now. Fun little stream. Fun little Valentine's Day stream for you, all you incels out there. All you true cells. I got plans tomorrow. That's why I can't do it tomorrow. I thought about trying to squeeze it in. I thought about saying screw it and just trying to squeeze it in tomorrow night. But then I thought, nah, you know what? I'll just do it Friday. And frankly, I got to say, this feels really nice. Feels really nice to be able to say, okay, well, now I have Saturday and Sunday free. Saturday, I can go and edit. Sunday, I can edit. And on my own time, on my own dime. Whereas before, Saturday was like, basically the majority of my day was devoted to getting prepared for this. And it felt like work and it felt like a chore. But now I feel like, oh, now I have Saturday and Sunday both free. I can do whatever I want. So maybe I'll start switching back. Maybe I'll switch to Friday streams. Will Friday nights be permanent? I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll try again next week on Friday. The problem is I'm not used to it. So what I would usually do is I would find, and maybe, and I don't know exactly, maybe this wasn't the most quality stream for you people. Jake fake cell confirmed. It's unconfirmed. Unconfirmed. Don't listen. My fellow true cells, don't listen to Pigeon Post. No, but the thing is that what I would do, a lot of what my process was, and maybe I need to just work on this. My process was like largely throughout the week, I would find interesting things to talk about, either on YouTube, on X, just in the news, whatever. I would then continue to procure media and information on it. And then Saturday, I would basically get the whole day, I would basically get a combination of all that media and what I had, and basically it's my research day. And that's the day I go and dig deep into the stuff. For today, I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't really expecting to do a Friday stream. I kind of pulled this out of my ass. Let's be honest. I think it went well. It was fine. But there was some things where I thought I could have done more research on that, even when I'm talking about it. So I think, okay, if I'm going to do a Friday stream, I have to start to reorient my researching, maybe do researching on the weekends now, maybe do more of it after my wagey job, and then prepare myself for Friday if I'm going to do that. But then it's just going to be like a ton of work during the week where I don't have that full Saturday to do stuff, to research throughout the day. I don't know. It's something. It's something I'd have to adjust to. So if I want to do Friday streams, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll try again next week. Maybe I'll try another Friday. Do you guys like the Friday time slot, 7 p.m., or is Saturday better? Somebody let me know in chat. What do you guys think? Do you like that? Did you like seeing, oh, Friday? That is so much better. Friday 7 p.m. was so much better for me to check out the stream. Or is it just doesn't even matter? Are all you guys just unemployed, homeless people living under a bridge with your phone, bumming off the Burger King Wi-Fi? If that were the case, I would be like, damn, props to you guys. You prefer Fridays. Okay, Adorable Waffles prefers Fridays. Pigeon Post says Fridays are good. Yeah, maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I'll do Fridays again. I still want to do a midweek stream at some point, like maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. This is like, this isn't my life, people. Okay, that's the thing, is that I do this and I like doing it, but it's like some of these people, these streamers who are streaming every day, it's like, damn, dude, I wish I had the ability to do that. It's like, no, I gotta go and deal with the world and shit, and I gotta I'm not getting paid from this, okay? I'm not getting any backing. I'm not getting any Peter Thiel backing to do this shit. So I gotta try and figure out how to manage. But hey, it is what it is. I feel like we're doing okay. Anyways, all right, maybe we'll try Friday again next week. I'll let you guys know. Be up to date. Keep up to date on X. Follow me, JKM on YT right here. I post updates and shit on here when I'm going live, what's going on. I also post updates in the post section on YouTube, which I know are kind of tough to find at times and people don't see them, but they're right here. I'll let you know when I'm going live, so you can always check on those things. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, JKM on YT. Make sure to like the stream. Clips will be up during the week, and we'll be back next week. I'll see you all then. Have a good night.